Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a brand new age of Monster Party.
Monster Party! Monsters! It's new and exciting and thrilling.
It really is a brand new day for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Because first of all, let me just explain. I know it seems like to you, the listener, we are getting together every week. And most of the time that is the case.
Yeah.
But for the past month or so, maybe month and a half, we've all had, sort of some schedule conflicts and things. I've been moving to a new place.
Yeah.
We're busy with our glamorous lives.
Yeah.
But we did these great shows.
But we did these shows. We banked them. We had them ready to go because we did not want to disappoint you, the listener.
No,
Absolutely.
we did not.
But now we ran out of episodes. So now we actually had
scrambled.
to see each other again.
But see, for years we've been in a special place.
Yeah.
We were recording from a special
From my old condominium,
Studio.
Carrie and I, our condominium, that was the studio. And it was in Studio City. And we have moved. How do you like that,
dun, dun.
folks? We have moved from a condominium to a house.
palatial mansion.
A mansion in Van Nuys.
The Weinhold Fortress of Solitude.
And it is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
It's a great place. It
Look at all
really
this
is.
space I have.
Yeah, I mean
And-
it's like the Winchester Mystery House. There's all kinds of nooks and crannies and stuff. But the good news is we now have a permanent studio.
a designated Monster Party
A
room.
Monster
Thank
Party
God.
room that is all our own, because in the old days, I would have to set up in the dining room on our dining room table, and we'd put our decorations up, and my wife Carrie would we have 3 rooms in the place, so she'd have to go upstairs if she wanted any kind of privacy. Now she's got this whole house. She's like running around in the rest of the house doing God knows what.
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows?
Who knows? And I don't want to know.
Or with
'cause that's
whom?
her time. And I don't want to know that either. That's why there's a back door.
So we're in a new place.
We're in a new
We
place.
feel fresh.
And this is our new episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we are going to start it off with an old friend of a topic.
I can't wait, Matt. What
is a
is
favorite.
our topic?
Once again, we dip our feet into the water. That is, Who Would Win? Volume 3.
Who would win? Volume 3. It's funny because people have asked us. They have so much fun with our volume 1, our
Yes,
second
great.
one, and people have actually asked, you guys should do another one.
Yes.
because
And
it's
we-
important.
It is important. In this time of social unrest, we need to do
We
this
need theoretical battles of pop culture characters.
Yes, because
More
that
than
will
ever.
fix everything.
And
Yes.
speaking of pop culture, we are trying to think who would be the perfect guest.
Hey,
who
how-
would be
That's right.
great?
But before we do that, did we introduce ourselves?
No.
It's true. We're so excited.
We're so excited about the new
Who
place.
are you, sir?
Hey, you know what? I'm Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry Stroth.
And I'm James Gonis.
And our guest for this
Fantastic guest.
third volume of Who Would Win is, oh my God, he's like a family member.
He is.
An old friend, a trusted companion,
Trusted soul.
and someone we owe a lot of apologies to.
very knowledgeable. Great writer.
He was the editor of famous Monsters of Filmland magazine, was executive producer on Entertainment Tonight,
Entertainment Tonight.
and we have him back right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's David Weiner.
David Weiner.
I feel so honored to actually be here to christen your
First
brand
episode.
new
That's right.
Monster Party HQ.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you know
yeah.
what? I also kind do like Sally Field. You know, you like me. You really,
really
like
do.
me.
We really
You brought
do.
me
You
home.
know that.
Yeah.
You-
Yeah.
And, but this is like your 4th time?
Well, actually, though, David's
Five.
been he made an appearance at one of our Comic-Con episodes,
Right.
At one of our recent Monsterpalooza Part 1 episode,
Yeah.
Plus our Christmas,
Oh, yes.
Island of Wishlist toys.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's been on He's a veteran. He's been in multiple.
So I think that might be 5 episodes.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
I think
God.
5. Yeah, I felt like this is my 3rd, but I sort of have 2 unofficial, official.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like,
special appearances.
pop-
You're like
Poppins. I did
Steve Martin. Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live, because he was never one of the not ready for primetime players, but he was on the show all the time.
Yeah.
He was sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the unofficial
Yeah.
extra cast member.
So you're
Right.
like our Steve Martin.
Wow.
You are
you go.
Steve Martin. How do you like that?
Wild and crazy.
When James says something, he says something important.
But David, you know what this is. You know what this game is, right?
I've never done your podcast, so I don't know.
No. This topic. Who would win?
Who would win?
Your classic playground kind of debate.
Yes. It's what you would do as a kid.
Yeah.
You think of a pop culture character.
You say-
Freddy versus Jason.
Or Batman,
you know,
Superman,
right,
yeah. Peanut butter versus jelly. Who would win?
Pinhead
You know?
versus Kruger.
Now, what are the parameters in terms of the physical confines?
Anything goes.
Is it a room? Is it the Thunderdome?
Well, I always say,
Is it Jay Leno's garage?
I say two creatures enter, one creature leaves, or
Is there-
Yeah, it could be anywhere.
that's
really.
what I say.
It's just about
These
the-
guys sometimes they go, oh, well, what about?
Yeah, that's exactly what we said.
But I think it's like imagine
We become one of the Peanuts characters' parents.
wah, 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 wah.
it's kind of like you come in, you do this battle, and
they
then
have to fight. There's-
yes.
So it's like the Gamesters of Triskelion. You sort of pop
Yes,
in
Yes.
and
it's a
pop
death
out.
match. Exactly.
Okay.
23,000 quattlos.
Yes,
Newcomer.
I just want to know if there's an audience or not, or if it's
Well,
like in a vacuum.
The
be.
the only parameters is that it has to be entertaining.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all.
Well, forget that.
So none of this, Woody Allen versus the interior script. I mean, that,
Okay, well, that was just a
fun.
little. That was a little bit of
Joke,
fun with
yeah.
James.
Oh, was that
that's all.
fun?
James had the right answer.
I
Right?
thought that was a fun question.
He had the right answer.
Yeah,
for
it was
that.
fun.
Which was what? I can't
And
remember.
that was at the end too, man.
James-
You're already
No, the answer
like,
was that Woody Allen had a career after interiors, so he won.
he won.
That's true.
Yes,
That's
yes,
true.
that's
Exactly.
right. Yeah, it did not beat him.
Just ask Sunyi.
Too soon.
All right. Well, so let's get to this. Let's get down and dirty.
Well,
Well,
gonna spit tits.
and as tradition, I think this is the way we normally start it, is we let the guest do the first one out of
course.
the gate, right?
All right. Well, I'm happy to do the first one, but I have to tell you that the first one is pretty well-known characters and pretty well-known actor.
That's okay.
And I'm saving the more obscure, arcane, ridiculous deep cuts for later.
Okay, that's
So-
fine. That's
so
fine.
I'm going to start broad, and I'm going to do an actor versus himself, the character.
Interesting. I like
The
that.
actor is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
The characters are Conan the Barbarian versus the Terminator.
Conan the
hands
Barbarian.
down. Hands
Well,
down. No.
Think
that's not-
think
no,
about it,
no.
because the
I am
knee-jerk
thinking about
reaction.
it. Okay.
Could you let him make his case? Why don't you just apologize now?
Go ahead, guest.
No, I've
please.
accused him of not thinking about it, and he
Okay.
didn't say anything.
All right.
No.
about
Go
it.
ahead, guest.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
want to hear
Throw
you
it out.
state your case.
Okay, I just think that it's very obvious off the bat. The Terminator is just relentless. The Terminator
Yes.
is pretty much impossible to beat, but it can be beaten. And
Yes.
there are ways
Yes.
to chop it down to size, so to speak. Now,
Yes.
I guess before we really dive into this, I need to know, when I was talking about the parameters, I forgot to ask: are weapons allowed?
Sure.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
what they're known for, if it's Thor, he's got his Mjolnir.
Yes, of
Right.
course.
His
Yeah,
mule
Yeah.
and his Nards.
You can't take away Captain America's shield.
Right,
No.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, so Conan would have his sword.
Yes.
He would have a shield potentially.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
And the Terminator, his weapon of choice is usually just anything that's got projectiles. Really.
Sure.
It's, guns.
Right.
And his futuristic metal
Skeleton.
endoskeleton.
Yes.
So,
Which is impervious to pain.
well, I'm just going to cut to the chase.
All right,
Really,
go,
in terms
go.
of how I envision this going down. I think
All
it'll
right.
be an epic battle, and I do think it'll be difficult for Mr. Conan. But Conan is also a raging, relentless barbarian. And if he's got the eye on the prize, and he could see that at first when he's fighting the T-1000, right? No,
Yes.
the T-800.
Oh, T-800, yeah.
T-800. That this thing, you chop off the skin, he keeps going.
Right.
But he also sees that you chop off the skin. There's not exoskeleton.
Endoskeleton.
He's got metal underneath.
Right.
Yes.
So he's going to chop away
Right.
until there's nothing left but,
Agreed. No.
a skeleton there. And I think that there's the possibility that he could chop this thing down to size to the point where he could win. What do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree.
It depends if he gets the upper hand
No.
right away. If he doesn't,
Can I say? Here's why I agree.
You said okay.
Here's why I agree, and then you can jump in.
It's my new leaf.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Here is why I think that would work out, and that is because in the original Terminator movies, the Terminator is defeated by a regular human.
Right.
So
Very true.
Now, if you've got Conan, who is extra strong, extra skillful at being a warrior, and in the first Terminator movie, the Terminator is crushed by that.
like
Okay.
a compressor.
Yeah, you're jumping way ahead
Well,
here.
no, but what I'm saying is that, like, in Conan's world, let's just say the Terminator shows up in Conan's world at that time.
Right.
I can envision a situation where he lures him into some canyon, and then a bunch of rocks come down on him, and that's the end of
Rocks.
Yeah, or a giant boulder,
Okay.
and that crushes the endoskeleton, and he wins.
Okay, well, okay, so this is all great, and then it's all kind of fancy and whatnot. I see your point, but it's like Conan has the mind of like a Neanderthal, okay? And
Does he?
And yet, hey, hang on a sec. I let you talk.
Okay. I'm turning over a new leaf. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so I
James,
see your point.
what do you want to say?
I see your point. But what you're saying is it's like the Terminator's like standing there while this guy, this Conan is like waving a sword, and that's not what the Terminator would do, David. What he would do is when Conan even tries to take one swipe, that Terminator, who's very strong, very agile, very quick, he's gonna grab that arm and he's gonna pull it down, and no matter how strong Conan is, that Terminator's gonna go like this and break Conan's arm. Conan's gonna go, my arm! And then what's gonna happen is the Terminator's gonna come with his physical strength, with his metal arms and stuff. He's gonna like crush and just get a hold of Conan's head and just smush it. And let me say, everyone said, oh, well, maybe he can bleed him down in the path where there's these big boulders here. It's like, let us remember that in the Terminator, Reese, who supposedly destroys the Terminator, he dies. Spoiler alert. But it's like he has the shit kicked out of him,
Right.
And basically what he does is he sticks a stick of dynamite or thing inside the Terminator, which explodes. And then even after that, it's half a body. It's moving towards
it's
Sarah Connor,
relentless, of
and
course.
it's Sarah who, as that thing starts crawling underneath the machine, she presses the button which crushes him.
Yes.
I think that Conan, first of all, you're not in some high technical area, and if you're thinking, oh, well, he's going to run down this area where there's all these boulders. I think mano a mano, here you've got them in a room, you got these two guys going at it, Conan has a sword and the Terminator doesn't have anything. I think the Terminator still, because it's a machine, it's not a human. So I think it's a good argument. You're right, I don't think it would be a quick, easy battle. I think it might take a little while, but I think the machine in the end is going to wear Conan down, breaking his arm, breaking this. So I think the Terminator.
What if Conan's swinging one of those giant, massive hammers? He could just.
I think if he can get the gun out of the Terminator. If the Terminator has a gun, I think it's kind of over. I mean, but
I imagine
if he
him not
can
having the
swipe
gun.
the gun out and it's just physically fighting, I think there's enough stamina in the warrior of Conan that he would have a chance.
And the instinct for self-preservation.
Yeah, because you're right. He gets into that warrior frenzy.
He's more than a human. He's a pretty fierce animal.
Yes.
Right,
He's a human. He's not a machine,
He's
James.
a trained fighter.
Yeah.
And he is not an idiot. He is smart.
No.
Oh,
he's
and
right.
the Terminator's not. The Terminator doesn't
I'm not
know.
saying-
Oh,
I'm not saying anything about the Terminator's-
I don't know how to fight.
No,
I'm going to go in this room and I'm going
programmed.
No,
to...
you're channeling a character from a different movie.
Did
I
a
don't
crush,
know.
kill, destroy thing. just
Yeah,
now.
you're right. Yeah, it's the Lost in Space Idic. Idic? No. That's Vulcan.
It's like
What was I thinking?
It's Gog from Gog. That's what it is.
Yeah. No,
What was the Crush, Kill, Destroy guy's name?
No, that was Lost in Space. I can't remember the name of the guy though.
But anyway,
Yeah.
look,
There's a chance.
Yes, an android is intelligent, but I think there's cunning. Just
Right.
like Captain Kirk knows things that Spock doesn't because he has emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be
Right.
the same sort of thing with a Terminator against Conan, because Conan would have that guile, that warrior's guile and intelligence in battle to maybe come up with a strategy to outwit
Yeah.
that Terminator.
He could even play dead maybe for a second. You know.
Yeah.
Come around with a
play
hatchet
dead.
and get him in the
Oh,
neck.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember at the end of Milius's Conan the Barbarian,
Yes.
they create a whole labyrinthine, a bunch of traps.
I saw it.
labyrinth.
Right.
I know. And the
Yeah.
big snake. I was there.
No, the snake was dead by then, but
Well,
okay.
Yeah. No, I think it would be very close. I think it could kind of go either way.
No.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Okay.
just
Are
my
you on the
opinion.
fence? Are you on the fence?
I am. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're 50-50. So the
think,
rest of
yeah.
you guys, you think that Conan would beat the Terminator?
I do.
I think he has a much better than average chance.
Okay,
He-
a
he has-
much
he has
better
a better
chance.
chance.
No,
He's
I
a-
mean, because you don't look.
No, that's
No,
not what
I'm
this
not gonna-
is.
I'm
They
saying
go to the playground. They're going to battle in the playground, and
Playground.
one is going to be lying there dead in a
Conan has
pool
a better
of blood.
Conan has a better chance than Arnold Schwarzenegger as the sheriff from Raw Deal fighting the Terminator.
And,
So there.
and much better hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he has a way better chance than Sarah Connor did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she came out ahead, so I'm going to
Yeah,
put
that's
my
true.
money on Conan.
Okay, well, I'm not sure we have a clear winner here, but
Right.
all right.
Okay.
I just to cap the whole thing, I picked it because it seemed at first like a very obvious loss
Right.
for Conan. But I
But
think if you
when
really
you
give
think
it some
about it,
thought,
yeah.
I think it's a compelling.
No, I gave it plenty of thought, and I still think I'm
Larry,
right.
never underestimate the human spirit.
That's right.
All right.
Next time, Larry, give it some thought.
Yeah.
All right. This is great.
All right. Who's next?
James?
All right. Tweaky.
What are you looking at?
Smirk on your face.
Tweaky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
Tweaky.
from Buck Rogers, the
Yeah.
classic?
Okay.
Are you? Wait a minute. Are you hiding your notes?
I don't want you guys
I think
to
he's
keep
cheating.
Copy.
All right.
I'm not going to look at your notes.
Hey, at least he didn't write it on his palm. Okay.
Yeah, he's got it written on his pants or something.
He's very coily.
Oh, okay. I see
have
paper.
notes.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
all right,
I
all
just want
right.
to make sure.
So Tweaky.
Tweaky.
You know, it might
I
be
like it already.
It might be worth pointing out that in the new studio here, we're on a smaller table for
It's a
the moment.
smaller table,
there's
so we're
less-
right in each other's faces.
So we can actually look at James's notes. Is that what it is?
right.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to. Would it help if I promise not to look at your notes? All
All right, Tweaky.
I don't want to look at your punk ass notes.
right, Twinkie.
Good. No, Tweaky.
Yeah. Versus
Tweaky. I love it. Tweaky.
Versus
Yes.
R2D2.
Ooh, I like that.
good,
I like it.
actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some thoughts.
Is Dr. Theopolis part of this arrangement?
Yes.
Oh, that's a very good.
That's a very good point.
Okay, I don't know then.
Because Theopolis is really the brains of the whole
Yes.
combination there.
And
He would
wait,
say,
and for
I think
listeners.
he would be
needs-
like, Tweaky, I think R2D2 is going to do this.
I think Tweaky needs that advantage.
Now,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
no.
I think you're right.
In fairness, for listeners who don't know, okay, so Tweaky
Who
is this
doesn't
little.
know Buck Rogers?
Come on, Sean. There's Tweaky is this little robot,
Right,
and Buck
ambi-
Rogers,
ambiquad.
and he's kind of an idiot, but he has.
he looks like a
circular-
penis.
He doesn't. He's not a penis.
He looks like a
He
penis.
does not. But he has
The
a
helmet.
circular computer.
Right, like a super
On like it's like
intelligent
Flavor
computer.
Flav,
Yes,
right?
yes,
It's like-
absolutely.
And,
Detachable.
and it's like, and that is kind of like the brain, and its name is Dr.
Theopolis.
Well, you
Theopolis.
say it name because you're Greek.
He can't. He doesn't. Don't go there again.
I remember thinking it was Thermopolis, but I guess
No,
it's Theopolis.
it's Theopolis.
Either way,
Yeah.
it's a Greek name. So that's a Greek
Yeah.
robot hanging from his.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool.
and this robot, the I should say the brain is very intelligent.
yeah, he would be able to scan everything and tell you, what's going on. But
Yeah, he's like a lazy HAL 9000.
yeah.
So it's
Corner on the
kind,
neck of
it's
another
kind of
robot.
like it's two robots in one. So my question to you, sir,
Yes.
is Dr. Theopolis there?
Yes, he is.
Dr. Thapopoulos.
Okay,
No,
okay.
because between R2D2 and Tweaky, I mean, R2 has seen major galactic action.
Yeah.
I think if on first glance, there's no contest. R2 could just wipe the floor with him. Probably little thing would come out of R2's dome, and then he could just
Zap him with.
Yeah, he has a
zap him.
weapon,
But also
he has a weapon.
and we also find out later in the crappy prequels that that R2 can fly.
Yeah, he's got
Right.
little
Okay, because
side
I was going to
jetpack.
say though, now all Tweaky has to do is go up a few flight of stairs, though. Then what does R2 do?
Well, Tweaky also has the benefit of hands. Twiki can pick up
Right.
a blaster.
That's true. That's true.
know?
Well, I think that Twiki is seriously because he has legs that he can move around really fast. I think
Yeah, he
R2.
can't
Okay,
move
wait a
that
minute. Really
fast? He
fast?
can't really move that
Well,
fast.
faster than the little R2D2 droid who puts his
Well,
little wheels down.
I think R2D2 and Twiki going up some stairs, it'd be like a snail race. I think they'd both have a lot of trouble.
be like the in RoboCop, the ED1.
Right, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. The
that's
Ed
such a great
2000.
scene.
So
Yeah.
let's just for the sake
Ed
of
219.
argument, let's
There's
take
no stairs?
Let's take away stairs.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
They just had a fight.
They're in a room,
an enclosed
with
room.
no stairs.
Right.
Here's my theory.
Okay.
Of how Twiki might be able to win, because initially, like we've all talked about, R2D2 has some skills, some equipment
Right.
that may give him at least a physical advantage. But this is what I see Twiki doing, because Twiki's, I think, at heart, kind of a bastard. Like, he's kind of an asshole.
Well, he's definitely
kind of frustrated.
Yeah, and he's
definitely like
sarcastic.
mischievous. He's
Yeah.
mischievous. Yeah.
And so this is what I see. I see in the heat of battle, I see him suddenly removing Dr. Theopolis and just jamming it into R2D2 and shorting him out.
Maybe. I think he does. He picked up a lot of his like.
Twiki, no, Twiki, no.
Well, yeah, because I think Twiki learned all his kind of sly behavior and all his kind of all that from
Buck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what would
Learned,
Buck do?
you know, right. He would fight dirty.
Yeah, he would fight dirty. He's
right.
human.
I mean, to win. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, I can go with that. All right.
Wow, are we unanimous here?
No, I don't think so.
David?
I want Twiki to win, but it's R2D2 hands down.
Oh, hands
Okay.
down.
Well, R2D2 just has Twiki is very limited, and from what I've seen, there really is nothing going on than him walking around. And
As far as we know, though, although
being
we
able to
don't
remove
know.
the Dr. Theopolis. Now,
Yeah.
I suppose that there's certain. I'm trying to find the advantages of that. You know, there's a way that he could potentially capsize R2D2.
True.
Run and push him over.
Well, unlike a turtle, I'm sure R2D2 can
Well, yeah, he
maybe
uses
easily
rockets.
capsize, but
Yeah.
could also get up easily.
Right.
What if he
no,
like?
easily.
Easily?
I don't think so.
What if he?
like Sunday morning. But
It's kind of like a turtle. If you flip a turtle over, he'll go and he could use his little neck to try and push
wait,
himself
are you
over.
talking about R2D2? He just
Yeah.
moves that third leg and he'll pop
Yeah,
back up.
or
and
the
he
rocket,
uses
or
his
rockets.
rocket packs.
I'll bet
or
you
anything
that
like
Twiki has some things that were never shown
That-
in the
exactly,
show.
yeah.
And I'll
Okay,
bet you that he bends
Whatever.
over. He bends over, and oil shoots out of the top of his little penis head.
No. Okay,
And
might have to-
R2D2 is so shocked.
Yeah.
Okay, David. Okay, I want to keep this more
fan fiction
PG, but
hurts.
listen, I'm going to throw something out at you. Okay, so
Okay.
James has said, "Oh, okay, Twiki and R2D2." I think it might have been interesting. Poor little Twiki. He was only around for there's only one season of about
couple
two
seasons, right?
seasons.
Two
There's
seasons,
two
yeah.
seasons of Buck Rogers, and the Star Wars. How many episodes are there? There's a bunch. What if we said it's Twiki from his 2 seasons against R2D2 and his first 2 movies?
Right,
Okay.
because
Aha!
yeah,
And this
because
is before before he had little jetpacks and he could fly.
All right, well,
Because if you expand on Twiki's abilities, he could have like Iron Man. He could have rockets on his
Yes,
feet.
sure.
Fly.
Yes.
We don't know.
All right, so if we're going based on the first and
fairness.
second Star Wars,
Yes.
R2D2 has a fire extinguisher system.
That's right.
And
Right,
fire
that's
extinguisher.
true, yeah.
Shh, they put out
Well,
fire.
It could
well,
freeze
we're
Dr.
talking about
Theopolis, though.
BattleBots right
Yeah,
here.
he
We
could
got to talk about what they've got.
He could put his finger and reconfigure Dr. Theopolis
Yeah.
to
like
his own
to
will.
turn
That's
on.
right.
Oh, but
Twiki.
that's like saying that he sticks a little finger out and it goes right into Dr. Theopolis. Don't you think Twiki's going to move?
But
No, he's got him in a
R2
corner.
has that-
He's got him in a
R2 has that
corner.
universal-
R2D2
you guys,
And
this
if
is
we're including Return of the Jedi, when Salacious Crumb
We didn't
comes
say-
around,
yes, but we didn't-
he can zap him too, so he can
Sure.
short
Okay,
circuit
you are-
Twiki.
you are jumping
and
ahead,
it's
sir.
a done deal.
You are jumping ahead.
No, no.
I'm
said-
sticking
said-
with the original trilogy. You're really going to
no,
exclude the
I didn't
third
say.
one?
I said there's 2 seasons of Buck Rogers, 2 movies of Star Wars. That's Star Wars:
you're gonna
New
ex-
Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
But
That's
that's
it.
unfair, though. That's unfair.
Why are you excluding Return of the Jedi? Why is this that?
No, he's not
count?
excluding it, right? You're
No,
saying the first 2 movies.
the first 2
not the
movies.
first 2
Why?
chapters. the first two movies that we saw.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Star Wars and the new and
Empire.
Okay.
That's it.
Why can't we use Return of the Jedi?
Because that's a third film.
Yeah, but
see-
R2 didn't do all that much in Jedi that would make a difference.
He pops the lightsaber out of his head. You know, he has what he's talking about. Oh, the salacious crumb. I have a little electricity thing come up. Bzzz,
Yeah,
you
but
know.
also-
Why are you taking those weapons away from this fight to make it a better fight for Twiki?
No,
He's-
you're on
and
Twitter.
you're being
playing with the
unfair. You're
rules.
being
Yeah,
unfair.
you're
because
right. You're
you're being
racist
unfair
against
because
robots.
you're being unfair
Don't
because
throw that word around, sir.
if we're talking screen time,
Yeah.
that means that Twiki got way more
full seasons.
screen time.
Well, then by that token, then we should have R2D doing the entire Star Wars series,
Okay.
fine.
I'm satisfied with just the first three, and he'll still beat him hands down.
hands down.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, feet down. Well, roller.
Once again,
yeah.
I think it's a great one, James, and I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it happen.
Fan fiction.
Okay.
So I want to know who you think might win.
My money's on Twiki.
Really?
Okay, so you say Twiki, you say R2.
Well, if R2 accidentally ejects the lightsaber by accident and Twiki gets a hold of it,
That's
then
true.
he could swipe him down.
Ooh.
and
Beep,
Twiki
beep,
could win.
goodbye.
But
R2.
chances of
Using
him doing
your-
it by accident.
Using your own weapon against you. Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
Theopolis could
But then
figure out a
again,
way
that's
to
also
do
Return
that.
of the Jedi, and that's not allowed. So never mind.
Here's another thing. Well, once again, I think if he uses Dr. Theopolis as a weapon, I think it's a surprising move that R2 wouldn't see coming.
Yeah.
But I also think here's another thing in Twiki's defense is that
The Twiki defense.
we should have
That's
Josh
a reference
Gillan
no one's
here.
gonna get.
Yeah.
Josh, if you could quote the Twiki defense, that'd be great for them. But Twiki, the one thing that I really get from Twiki when you initially see him, aside from the penis head, is how solid he is. He's a solid
Yeah, he's a
piece of
scrappy
metal.
little. Yeah, he's been lost. He's like floated in space.
Yeah.
And he's like, I mean, yeah, he's gone through a lot. He's
I'll bet you if you shot Twiki with a blaster, I think he might shake off the first one at least.
Yeah, like, it
whereas
wasn't close
R2,
range.
I don't know. I don't think
yeah,
so.
Wasn't it in A New Hope that R2 got shot at some point and
Yeah,
just kind of fell over?
by the Jawa.
The Jawa.
Yeah,
right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's true.
It was like a piece of.
Yeah, that's it. A shitty Jawa weapon.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't
Well,
if
you know
that-
what? Also, I mean, if Twiki has a restraining bolt, hidden somewhere, all he has to do is walk behind
and Theopolis,
R2D2.
and Theopolis would know about that too.
Yeah,
It was like,
he would.
Like Twiki, I'm detecting a restraining bolt.
and look, this is what I'm going to say to you. Actually, it's your thing.
Get him from behind.
I don't know why I'm like going to you. I would say, James, to you, I would say to me the special piece here is the Dr. Theopolis. I think because he's the brainiac, he is the.
It does help.
So I do think yes. I don't think it would be. It's a match that would happen. End quickly. I think it would take a while, but I do think. Dr. Theopolis with the brain, however he's R2 is defeated, I think would eventually defeat R2. So my first thought, I wasn't thinking of Twiki, but I think now it would be Twiki.
All right.
Look at that.
Sean?
All right. Here's a kind of an obscure one, but
Wait a
I think
minute.
you guys will.
No,
I just wanted your opinion. I was going to go now. Oh,
yeah,
go,
no.
let's skip me,
I thought
Sean.
you were asking-
No.
I forgot. It's your show. That's right.
With Larry, the amount of opinions you've thrown out already counts as your turn.
I
I have to go.
one.
Go
I'm going to go with Twiki actually.
Okay,
All right,
okay,
okay,
Twiki.
there
Okay,
you
what
go.
are you going to say? R2D, Twiki.
You know what? I'm going to put my money on the underdog. I think it's Twiki.
All right. Cool.
R2D2.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Larry, it's your turn.
Okay, let's shake it up a little bit. Okay,
No.
we did some monsters. We did an actor over here. How about some monsters here? How
Go
about,
for it, yeah.
Okay, how about I was thinking really hard about this. Okay, get this
Okay.
from 1981, Ray Harryhausen's Clash of Titans. Let's say Medusa.
Okay. All right. Good.
Medusa. Okay.
Good. Like it.
And what does Medusa do, David?
Turns you to
To
stone.
stone. Okay, so it's Medusa versus from 1973, The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Callie. Callie's the stone
already
figure.
stone.
Yeah, already stone with all the
Interesting.
arms with the swords.
Interesting.
Okay.
So you
All right.
can't-
That's a good one.
Huh?
Yeah.
So now, does Medusa turn you into non-living stone? Anything?
Well,
What do you mean? Like
she petrify you.
Right,
She turn-
petrify you.
Oh,
See, it's funny you should ask this because I was thinking about this. Kali is already stone.
Right,
Okay.
yes.
And you could say it's living stone. If
Right.
it's stone, it's stone. I think if Medusa tries to do her eyes and make Kali turn stone, nothing's going to happen. I think Kali is going to continue to come forward.
Let me ask you.
Sure.
So,
And then-
both you would consider supernatural beings.
I knew
yes?
you were going to bring this up. Yes. Yes.
So I think that's also in Kali's favor too,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just this is not just a regular mortal that you're turning into stone.
That's right.
This is another supernatural being with her own set of rules
Right,
Yeah,
right.
and abilities.
And let's if people can recall in the great Clash of the Titans, the Ray Harryhausen, that fantastic film, Medusa is terrific, but she's kind of shaped like a snake. Okay, she kind of has to move like a
Yes.
snake. Okay, and she basically has two things going. She has this giant bow and arrow,
which would be useless against Kali.
which would be useless. Yes.
Yes.
And so the second thing is turning you to stone. Now, it doesn't mean that she can't use her physical strength.
Yeah, but
Right,
see,
to
you know,
wrap around
Kali,
Kali
yeah.
and
But Kali already is much larger than Medusa.
It
And the
is.
fact that Medusa was decapitated by Perseus with
Yes.
a sword, you've got Kali has three swords.
No,
six
six swords.
So I think there's no contest.
I
think
have
it'll
to
be Kali.
say that Kali is nothing without an evil Tom Baker wizard to tell it what to do, and Kali
true.
must be conjured by a third party.
Well,
Okay,
yes, you're right.
okay. For the sake of
true.
argument, let's say
No, we're not gonna allow
no,
this argument.
No,
I'm
Medusa
just
goes
kidding.
into a room, and
been
Tom
enough arguing.
Baker throws the potion and makes Kali come to life, and then she walks into a
and then
room.
leaves
Okay,
and goes home. He goes,
are
you
you-
kids work it out.
Are you?
Yeah, he
and
goes home, does another Doctor
It's
Who on
funny
tape.
because I thought Matt was going
Calls
to
it a
say
day.
that. I thought Matt was going to bring this up. Well, Larry, no, it's like okay, it's not Kali as the
Wait a
the
minute!
statue.
Why are you poo-pooing all these? You got to think outside of the box with these situations,
No,
right?
I think,
it makes
but
it
who do
interesting.
you think? I mean, do you think it would be
No.
Kali who would win?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Thinking box.
And I think if you recall,
Interesting.
if you recall how Kali was defeated, it's not one person, it's many. Okay,
right.
Because Sinbad is kind of taking the focus
Right.
on Kali, and Kali doesn't realize that there's another person behind.
Right.
He gets pushed and blah blah blah. With
Yeah.
spoiler.
See, I thought you were going to say Kali versus the masthead, the stone statue in the front of the ship that comes to life. Remember?
yeah,
That's-
yeah,
that
that's
would-
But that's
wood.
wood.
So that's wood. That's
Right.
wood. No,
but
no,
that's also a living statue.
Do you guys
right?
remember how Kali is defeated in the Sinbad movie?
yes.
Yeah, she's
She's pushed.
She's
She's
pushed
pushed
over
upstairs
and
and
breaks,
breaks.
Yes.
easily. She's
So,
brittle.
That's
She-
true.
She's
But- and-
absolutely
if
brittle. All
Medusa
she
could-
has to. So I submit that Medusa, since her power of turning to stone
Doesn't work.
Kali's impervious to that.
Yes.
So Medusa is wily.
Yes,
and,
that's
and,
true.
and,
Wrap her
and,
snake
and
body
very
triple.
powerful. Yeah, I mean, you don't even need that ability, that killer gaze. All you need is a swipe of the tail and
That's true.
swipe
Oh,
the
that's
feet,
good.
and it goes over and
'Cause
it
I-
breaks in half.
I got a
and it's
better
done.
one. I got a better. Listen to this. Not better. Different. It's not a contest, David.
How dare you.
Jesus. Anyway, so you get a line of humans, and they lead up to Kali, and she's like on the edge of a thing, right? A precipice. And then what you do is you just look at them, and they all turn to stone, and then you do like a domino. Boom.
Yeah.
You don't even have to get up close and
Brilliant.
dirty. You don't have to even
right.
dirty your
You just
hands.
have to include the audience. That's all.
Because the personification of Medusa that Harryhausen created in Clash of the Titans, I always got the feeling she was like kind of a cunning warrior too. She had that, but she was like crafty and sneaky and like. So I think you're right. I think she just whip around behind Kali for a second and trip her.
Yeah,
I agree.
She also plays the waiting game as well. She allows people
True,
to
she
get into
stalks
her.
her. Yeah,
She hides in the shadows. She moves around the columns. She plays a waiting game, and then when she's
Right.
able to
That's
strike,
Kali!
she does.
What?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Yeah, so I can
No
I
one?
take it back now. I think maybe I think it could be kind of either way. I think it just depends. Yeah.
Mind you, I just have to say, Kali is next to Medusa. Kali is one of my favorite.
Oh, me too.
Oh,
Me
me
too.
too.
Oh, I love it.
And a quick aside, as an adult, I became obsessed with religious artifacts that had multiple
Okay.
arms.
yeah.
and it only occurred to me as an adult that one day I was watching the Sinbad movie again, and I was just like, this entirely stems from my childhood, and this is the most exotic thing and the most frightening and
Oh wow!
We're bringing
I pull them
we're
from the
bringing out the
shelf.
toys.
Here we got the toys right here. We got Collie. Now
my
it's
gosh.
not actually
No.
perfect to scale.
No,
Right.
it's not because
But
Collie, I
because-
believe, is larger.
Yeah,
much
but
larger.
With this scale, Collie's no threat at all.
Yeah.
Well, because she doesn't have any swords in her hand.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
great.
just a lot of like, hey,
Right
it's
now
like,
they're just
like a
stumbling,
panhandler.
drunk, and falling.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
so look, if we're okay, so I've made the pitch. So as we're going around, so you're saying that Medusa would win eventually. Matt, what do you say? And you also think Medusa would win?
I'm gonna go with Medusa. Yeah.
Okay, and you are.
I think I've changed my mind. I think probably Medusa. Yeah, because Collie's kind of like you're right. Collie's just kind of
Taking
a
orders.
mindless,
Yeah.
mindless living statue. It's not like a living, breathing,
Can't
cunning thing.
think on the fly.
Come on, James.
Same here.
Oh.
I was at first with Collie, and then I changed my mind.
Yeah.
I think it would
Yeah.
be Medusa.
Well, you know,
Great arguments.
I'm gonna have to stick with Collie, but I hope you like that as far
I
as
loved it.
supernatural
It was a great
creatures
one.
go.
And you
It was a great one. That was a great one.
Well, I think it's also a brilliant choice because it's impervious. Collie is impervious to the most powerful weapon that Medusa has. So you
Right,
started
right.
off as a very compelling argument.
Well,
but-
thank you very much.
But then we poked holes right through it.
Well, and again, this is a creature that was defeated by humans, both of them.
Right.
Right,
Yes.
right. Also,
So-
one of my favorite, like David talking about, like that movie. Like Collie's also one of my favorite characters. One of the things I love in that movie is when she first comes to life. She does that little dance.
Does a dance?
She moves
Yeah.
her neck. She does a
Right.
little kind of Indian. It's so cool.
And,
It's like,
and then
like,
the swords appear out
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
her hands. They
It's
grow
so
out of
cool.
her
yeah,
hands.
and it's just like, oh
That-
my
I
god,
was
it's so
mesmerized.
That was my
from
first erection. I was like, wow.
I had 6 at the same time.
All right, Sean,
one.
it's in your corner now.
Okay, so this one, yeah, I try to pair two creatures that I think are very similar. First one would be, we know the movie Island of Terror, right? The silicates,
Yes, yeah.
the silicone-based kind of like blob creatures with tentacles on them. They can liquefy bone and tissue with a touch. Yeah, of course, there's one on the shelf.
It's on a
behind
shelf
us.
right
Yeah.
there in the corner.
They were created by these scientists to kind of like attack cancer cells, and of course something went wrong, and they terrorized this island, you know. And so yeah, they're kind of blobby things that they crawl around. They have this tentacle, and as soon as they touch you, you just become like a puddle of flesh, like they dissolve your bones. So what if one of the silicates had to fight the Horta? From Devil in the Dark Star Trek episode, because the Horta is silicone based.
Yes.
It is rock burrowing. It uses corrosive acid to go through
Yes.
rock the way we go through air.
Yes.
And it's, you know, in the show, in the Devil in the Dark episode, there's these miners on Genesis 6, and they're being terrorized by this thing. It's because we find out that they're actually destroying her eggs. There's
Yes.
a mother Horta.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yes, but she's a female protecting her eggs.
It's
But
one of my
they're
favorite episodes.
Similar in size and shape to the silicates, from
Yes.
Island of Terror. So the Horta is impervious to phasers, at least like the first phaser fire.
Phaser number
It can
one.
burrow through rock.
Yeah.
The silicates can't be killed by bullets or anything. So
No.
who do you think would win?
Here's the thing. So the Horta has the corrosive acid stuff to burrow through. And
Right.
when we say rock, but it's more than just rock. It's all kinds of mineral stuff that
Well, yeah,
you can
but
do
it's
a
underground
perfect...
where the miners are.
It's been
yeah.
a while since I've seen that movie. How do they kill them in the movie?
They inject cattle with some kind of like anti-cancer thing, or they inject the cattle with something which the silicates then feast on, and then they die.
Okay.
So it's
They
like a,
poison it.
yeah, kind of. So that's something that the Horta can't do. So,
And
you know,
other than that, they're completely impervious.
They're
Like
not-
if you dropped a tank on them, like would
well,
they
I don't know about
squish?
that, but they're pretty impervious. They have a hard shell, you know. So
But what about the acid, the corrosive
Yes.
acid?
well, would that? I don't know if acid would be effective though on the silicates though.
It's acid.
Maybe
Come on.
maybe on the tentacle part of it. I
Or
don't
how
know.
about acid around whatever that silicate was on, the base of whatever that silicate was traveling on.
Right.
And then it's like, let's say it's on a bridge and you
Right, yeah,
dissolve the bridge and the thing falls into a canyon and then you
Right.
drop a tank on it.
Or throw some boulders on it.
right?
The Horta,
Wow,
Horta is
don't-
pretty
don't-
nimble. It's a pretty nimble.
And intelligent. We find out that it's actually an intelligent
that's
creature.
right.
I think the
So, yeah, that
silicates-
helps, too.
Silicates are kind of animals. I think just feeding.
And the Horta can think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
right,
think
can communicate.
ultimately the
Horta's got feelings.
yeah.
she does.
And
but how?
If they're
but how, though?
intelligent and if especially if as a community if we're talking more than one Horda against more than one Silicate,
Right.
I think you'd have the community of them being able to create strategy
Right.
against these
Yeah, maybe
just
they could, like-
killing machines.
They could like lure them to some trap or
Right.
something.
Yeah. I think
Whereas
yeah. Once again, if I was making a bet, I'd say the Horda.
okay.
It's kind of like right now, I think the Silicate, it's kind of an unknown about, well, it's got the shell and it got the tentacle. I think my first feeling is the Horda's corrosive juices,
Right.
I think, would cause some kind of damage to the Silicate. That's kind of what
Maybe in
what
the
I
tentacle
think.
part of it could. Yeah.
But see, can it live without the tentacle?
Yeah, I don't know. It's true.
Well, and I mean, I think that if it mains the
One thing
Silicate-
though is that the silicates can divide very quickly. Like they spread across the island. There's like hundreds of them very very quickly. So that
Like the Lepus.
yeah,
Like the green slime.
yeah. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go.
Although
with the
they don't
Horda
have
still.
such a good theme song.
true.
Right.
Silicate.
So I mean, this is a really good art. I mean, I'm trying to think here. Maybe because I love the Horda so much.
Yeah,
too.
the Horda is the Horda is
mean,
kind of a
Intelligence. I think
yeah,
intelligence is the key here.
yeah, I think
and
so.
and also, I mean, we're thinking just one Horda. If like what Matt said, if there is an army of Horda, I don't know. I think I'd go with the Horda.
Well, but if the silicate has the ability to divide,
Right.
is that fair in this competition?
Well, because the Horda lays eggs and takes a while for those eggs. They hatch, but they're small and take a while to grow. Whereas the silicates very quickly they split in two, and then there's two of them.
It's a little Horda. It's a little itty bitty Horda, and it burrows through the tentacle.
Maybe if
and
it's
it's
a
like
little- yeah.
I'm using my corrosive acid to go
Because they
through
do-
the tentacle.
they do start burrowing-
and goes burrowing into.
But you know
the
those-
silicate.
I swear to
eggs
God,
take-
I thought you were doing the Kids in the Hall and crushing your head voice. I'm crushing your head.
So, but the Horda, those eggs take a long time because those miners showed up and
Yes.
they never figured out that they were
No,
eggs
but-
because
right.
they took so long to hatch.
But once they did hatch, if you remember,
unless this
in
is
the
a very
episode-
long cage match.
But in the episode, they said as soon as they hatched, right away, this little sucker started
That's
burrowing
right.
through the
Yeah.
rock right
But,
away.
okay, so if we really wanted to make this a battle of the century, it would be the silicate against cows with cancer, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like,
All right,
you
so-
know my cow has cancer. Come here, come with me.
Okay, so David, what do you think? Silicate or a Horda?
This might be an even match. I don't know. Because, I mean, if you're talking about intelligence versus sort of animal
Instinct or
Magnetism.
I was going to say strength, but it's really just sort of sometimes intelligence doesn't always win. You could be Wile E. Coyote, but if
How
you
dare you.
a rock can beat you.
Right,
You know.
right.
So, but I think I'm going to edge out with the Horda here.
James?
I've got to exclude myself from this argument. I have
No,
not seen
no.
You have not seen
You
Devil in the
can't-
Dark.
It's just been explained to you though.
Well, look. As far as that goes, I would go with the Horda.
All right.
I think the
Okay,
Horda. Yeah,
Horda. I'm with intelligence too.
Okay.
Okay.
Matt?
All right.
Okay, but Sean, I do think that's a really good. That's a good
I was
suggestion.
trying to
That's
think
a
of
good.
similar type.
Here's where I
That's a
ruin
nice little
everything.
deep. That's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
All right,
Choice.
Matt, it's up to you.
Okay, if we're gonna play this game really in the way that it was intended, if we're gonna go like to the schoolyard, the type of matchup that you'd find on the schoolyard as a kid, get this: Hulk versus Popeye the Sailor. Popeye the Sailor. Now, I'm sure a lot of people would go, "Oh, Hulk, of course. Hulk, smash. Hulk gets stronger as he gets angrier."
Right? Yeah.
But Popeye, see now, we're not talking about Popeye before spinach. And
We're talking-
as in we're not talking about Bruce Banner.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Fair enough.
But one thing you get with Popeye is Popeye's already pretty fucking tough before he even takes the spinach.
Yeah.
That is true.
Before spinach, Popeye is just a drunk, one-eyed sailor who likes to fight.
Well, I don't know if he's drunk, but he does.
He's drunk.
He sings and hums to himself a lot.
Yeah,
he does that
he's-
scat thing.
Yeah, he talks to
does he
himself
do
as
that?
he walks down the street.
mutters to
little
himself.
snapper there. Yeah, he's a
Snapper.
Yeah, when he was like Sinbad the Sailor, the
Yeah,
fisher attacking.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
little snapper there. but he's talking to himself and mumbling, and he's got problems.
Okay.
But okay, so
He's got one eye.
And he's got one eye. He's got one eye. Which I love the people that thought up Popeye. It was like, what are the kids like? This is a great character, this sailor character, but if we popped out one of his eye and called him Popeye.
And of course, they don't want to put a patch over his eye because that would make him like a mean pirate.
Right, so he's
we'll
just squinting.
So we'll just have him close his eye all the time.
I kept waiting for him to do something like open up the crevice of where his eye was,
Now,
and like and
Hey, was it ever
take a
confirmed that he
fist.
lost that eye?
Well, that's we have a
do we
Popeye
know?
expert. We have a
Do we
Popeye
know?
expert
Yeah.
here at the table.
Ooh, Wow. I have to say I do not know the Popeye.
What?
I missed.
I thought you were the Popeye
knows,
expert.
he knows more about the Horda than he knows.
You know what?
I
about
missed
Popeye's
I missed
eye
the
hole.
comic strip and the cartoon where they said, well, when you were in the hospital after that anchor
Matt,
accident.
I could have
Right. He
sworn.
was saving
A
Olive.
silicate took his eye.
I could have sworn there was an episode of Popeye where both eyes like pop out, kind of like a
Really?
whoa.
I honestly don't
but
remember
I think,
that one.
I think maybe
So it's
he's
just like a tick.
I don't think. I don't know. If, I don't
This
think.
has become
not
about
sure if he's-
Popeye's eye. I think we forgot about the
look,
matchup.
it's all part of it. We need to know these things.
Okay, so anyway,
because it fuels his anger.
so Popeye and Hulk. Okay, so Popeye.
So
spinach.
now the Hulk, in a lot of ways, is a little more of he's like kind of a more benign Bluto. He's like just like the Hulk is a little more innocent, but it's just this giant, muscular guy that wreaks havoc.
Yeah, it just destroys everything.
Yeah, and turns every date into possible rape.
But
Right.
the Hulk would also have to have been provoked, and Popeye would have had to, like, someone would have had to make a play for olive oil for Popeye to get rid of
That's
it.
true.
Popeye doesn't take the spinach unless he's already gone through a lot of shit before that.
Right. True.
Usually he gets his ass kicked.
Well, maybe-
and then
yeah,
he
yeah.
resorts to the spinach.
Well, Bruce Banner was making the moves on Olive, and then
Right, in a
Olive-
very passive
Olive
aggressive
slapped
way
him,
that
and he turns into the
Popeye
Hulk.
couldn't understand.
Okay, look, that seems very unlike. Let's
snapper there.
let's just jump. Let's just say let's just say that because I don't think Bruce Banner would actually do it. Let's just say that Hulk jumps into this room and Popeye with this can of spinach jump in the room. Okay.
So now
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Popeye takes the spinach.
Okay.
Now once he takes the spinach, I would say that he pretty much in
It's
that
almost
world
like a Hulk
spin-
transformation himself, right there. He becomes, I mean,
and it's spinach is almost like turns him into a supernatural being because
does,
now
yeah.
once he's got the spinach in him, Hulk can do all these things. He can smash things. He can level buildings. Popeye can punch a cow and have the cow come down in different cuts of meat, including sausages.
that's true.
And
So-
Popeye has never lost after he had
And
his
he
can of
has
spinach.
never
That's true.
lost.
He has
And so-
never
so
lost.
is that gross can of raw
Okay.
spinach.
Yes. Now
It's
I
like-
don't think here's the thing.
It's not even cooked or sautéed. It's like,
Yeah, no matter what Popeye did to the Hulk, I don't think he would kill the Hulk.
no, I don't think he. Yeah, he's.
But I think he would defeat him because he's got so many things. First of all, all you have to do is show the Hulk one of the movies on his muscle, and the Hulk would be like, "What happening?
It'll be
My
like a-
movie
it'll
on
be-
muscle."
Battleship.
hurts.
Which I have another question about that too. Does Popeye only see that, or do the rest of the people
That's
see
a
that too?
I think it's just
spinach
Popeye.
I think it's
hallucinations.
it's the alcohol.
I think
it's the DT.
Okay, now look, you've brought it. I just want to cut right to it. You've brought up some very interesting situations. Again, I want to go to the pseudo expert then.
All right, armchair.
No,
guys.
and
Lie.
weekend.
James knows a lot about
As far as Popeye's history, I mean, it's a very, very old character from a very, very old comic strip. It started out being called Thimble Theater, and Popeye became the most famous character from that. He spun off.
Really?
I don't think.
Yes, that's right.
I don't think in the early days spinach even factored into it. I think
No,
he was
really?
just
No.
sort of an
Cantankerous.
It was
sailor.
like-
sort of
like-
an Andy Cap type
Oh, really?
character.
Right, yes.
he
that's true.
he ate yams or something instead.
then the Popeye that we know from watching the cartoons, he eats the spinach and becomes all powerful, and then it became a formula over and over and over again. But I don't think that was the origin. But the question of the eye is very interesting.
It's gotta be like-
Okay,
Back to the
but what I want to get to is you know more about Popeye, well, almost everything about Popeye than anyone I know. But so in this situation, who do you think would win?
I think Popeye would win.
Yeah, in a
Really?
fight, right? And it,
Yes.
again, wouldn't kill him.
But he's smarter though too.
Look,
I mean, he's,
Well,
Popeye-
is it two men enter, one man leave? Or
Yes.
does one have to be dead?
Not
Well,
necessarily.
dead, just
Or could they
defeated.
be out cold?
defeated.
I guess defeated.
Defeated.
And the
Okay.
minute he's out cold, then he turns back to Bruce Banner, and so you could
Okay.
say,
Okay.
Okay.
in so many ways, he's dead.
The things
He's
that
no
show
longer a
up.
Hulk.
The Hulk is green. Is Popeye also a cannibal?
No.
Oh well, that's
No.
you know he's green. I wonder if there's a chlorophyll thing. I wonder if he took a bite out of the Hulk.
Maybe if he licked Hulk, there might be some elixir.
Gamma radiated spinach could make him. Could make Popeye almost a god.
Yeah, he would become like Thanos.
Exactly.
James, you were gonna say
Popeye versus Thanos. I'm
James,
changing it.
You were going to say something.
Or Popeye's bicep, you see like an anvil. Sometimes you see
Yeah,
like
you would
a
li-
missile
you would
or a
learn
battleship.
Nipple, like
He's a
little
shapeshifter.
nipple, like
Yeah.
several different
It's-
muscles on top of each other,
yeah,
ending
it
in a
became like
nipple.
it became he would literally change reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
and
okay,
when you
right.
can do that, then you're pretty much undefeated.
Okay,
That's
okay,
true.
okay. This is all great,
Yeah, he could
fine. Okay,
punch wood and make a log cabin. Like
Okay.
you know, like,
all right. Okay, you've talked a lot about Popeye here. So give.
Why are you so-
I'm just because I would like you to give someone else here a chance to speak. That's all. You've been going off about
you gave a
Popeye.
fucking dissertation about every single topic so far. For once in my life, I feel joy in my new home.
And you've taken that away.
How dare you?
Well, I didn't mean to take it away. I'm just
No, that's
okay.
fine.
You're going on and on about Popeye and his muscle. Okay,
Yeah,
let me.
because that's my topic.
Okay, well,
That's my.
let me just.
That's my
James,
entry
okay,
here.
He's trying to build a solid case, and I think he
Okay,
has.
is that your case? Do you need to
No,
go
I'm
on?
going to give you some more examples.
Okay, please.
Yeah, a little
By all means.
snapper there.
Talk about the other arm.
Okay, this is great. Go ahead. Go ahead. Continue. Go on with Popeye.
No, that's it. Okay.
Is that it? Okay, Mr. Popeye expert here. Let me just throw this out at you. So when Popeye eats his spinach and gets all these muscles and ripples and stuff, who was he fighting, Matt? Who was he fighting?
Bluto.
Bluto.
But not always
No,
Bluto.
the majority of the
Termites?
He never.
Remember the termite
he
one?
Never,
Monsters.
ever
Monsters?
fights the Hulk, and this is
No,
my
he-
thing.
he- 'cause
I
they didn't have the
envision
rights.
he's gonna take the spinach.
So you're-
He's gonna go strong, and the Hulk is gonna grab him by the leg and go whack, 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 whack,
Yeah,
and he's gonna whack him
He's gonna-
into the
And he'll be
ground.
taking
Sailor.
and he'll be taking and he'll be
his-
like cleaning his teeth.
No, he'll be
Because that's what-
pulverized.
no, because
He'll be
that's what, 'cause
pulverized.
that's what he would do when Bluto would try to fight him. When
That's
once
true.
he had his
Like,
spinach,
he was
he'd
indestructible.
be fine.
He was
He'd be totally
indestructible
fine.
as long as he ate the
But you
spinach.
see,
He would. You know what would happen? He would punch the Hulk, and the Hulk would go up in the sky, and then he'd come down as like
Meat?
Like, no, like
it's little
like,
Hulks. It's a
like
bunch of little
yeah,
Hulks.
like
Little baby Hulks.
little gummy, little
See,
gummy
you are-
Hulks.
No, you guys are like creating this whole fantasy. You know, that's not
Fantasy?
reality.
That is not
the
reality.
The reality is.
Have you ever watched? Have you ever watched a
Yes.
Popeye cartoon?
Yes, I have.
So
I've
you
watched-
know what he does. That's not
I do.
fantasy.
I
That's
do.
reality.
But Matt, but in that reality, he never fights the Hulk. And what I'm telling you, it's a ridiculous argument because the Hulk
Conan
would
didn't-
pulverize. No,
all
he would
theoretical.
pulverize.
Conan didn't fight the Terminator. That's the whole point of this fucking game.
David, back me up here.
I suggest that if this is a Popeye cartoon, Popeye wins every single time.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Victory, Popeye.
Okay. Well, what if it's a Hulk
right.
cartoon?
He's
Then
right.
what?
He's right.
Victory, Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But we're not
I just
playing that.
think- no,
all of
I
a
just
sudden now
think-
you had a call to the studio and you had to get rights for us to play this game when it's my turn. But he can go off. Sean can go off on the silicates and the fucking Horta.
Matt, you bring up a really good argument.
Yes, I do.
It's and I think you're getting lost.
I'm
you're
getting lost.
Yes, you're getting lost in Popeye being able
Why don't
to
you-
like hit a cow and turn it into like.
How did he
pieces
lose
of
his eye,
meat.
really?
And pieces of
You're
meat.
on the
He
phone
has-
with King Features lawyers right now.
He has one eye. He has one eye, and yes, he is powerful. But I think the massive strength of the Hulk. Did you see the last movie? Did
Yes.
you see how powerful the Hulk is?
Yeah, but he's no Popeye. Popeye.
Okay, this is great.
right, let's move on.
So David, who do you think would win?
Popeye.
James,
Popeye.
Sean,
Popeye.
Matt.
Popeye.
Okay, I'm gonna say the Hulk. There, I'm in the minority.
Right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Why don't you call your corporate media masters?
You know, I just might do that.
Clear your next round.
File your minority report.
Yes.
David,
All right, Dave.
you have
back to
one?
Yeah.
Reset this show.
Are you happy?
No.
Are you happy?
No.
Okay.
No, I think
can
you
you-
guys are being totally ridiculous and honest.
Can you reset?
Nope.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So I think
Are you gonna do another Popeye?
I can.
No.
Okay. I think it would be very interesting if you had Professor X from the X-Men
Yes.
Ooh.
versus a boy named David from Village of the Damned.
Interesting, because one of mine was the David Village of Damned against Anthony from the Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right.
Oh.
Which was a
Yeah.
really. But
Did I miss that?
Yes.
Did I miss that?
Yes, you did. But you know,
this is a different
this is
pairing.
different.
That's good.
Okay,
This is good.
Because Village of the Damned is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Coming out on
And-
Blu-ray soon, by the way.
Ah,
And your team up actually is more evenly matched than David because David wins.
Well,
Because David can change reality. He can change
Yeah,
reality.
David can reshape reality.
right?
Right.
Or Anthony.
Anthony. You're talking about
Sorry,
the
I'm
Billy
sorry,
Murphy
sorry,
character.
sorry, Anthony.
But that's
Yeah.
not what. No, you know what? But that's not what we agreed upon. Though.
I can't remember.
Well,
but-
I remember, but I want to get to your thing. So the two characters.
well, Professor X. I
from
mean,
the X,
he's
and what he can do.
He is all powerful. I mean, and I'm not
Into your
even.
mind.
I'm not even talking about with Cerebro. I'm just talking about he could just freeze everyone around him if he really puts his
Right,
mind to it,
right.
literally. And David. The thing is, I think the advantage that David has, even though he's very, very highly advanced for a months-old young boy,
Yeah, or alien human hybrid.
Exactly. He's incredibly intelligent and incredibly perceptive. Yet he's susceptible to the sway and the argument and the anger and the knee-jerk response that you would have as a child,
He is
Right.
not
He's
all
petty.
knowledgeable. He's not all knowledgeable.
which makes him more of a threat. Because Professor X is a person who thinks it through, and he's a person who,
Right.
while he's incredibly powerful, he shows tremendous restraint as well.
True.
But how powerful is, like, could David simply kind of burn out, Professor X's brain? Like, how we don't really know the capacity.
We never saw David's full potential
Right.
because he was just a child,
Right.
and
But
he was
also-
getting so strong that he could control everybody's mind around him and
Right.
turn them against themselves or each other or them. He basically
Right.
was undefeatable. And the only way he was able to be defeated was basically they had to blow him
was like
up
a ruse, right.
by distraction.
This is a good one.
But it wasn't just him. It was the rest of them together.
That's
They
true, it's a
pooled their
collective.
power. And
That's
so
true.
that would have to be part of it because I think David alone wouldn't have the power level, certainly wouldn't have the level of power that Professor X has.
It's more of a hive.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. I thought he was the most powerful of the group, and individually they had tremendous power.
Yeah.
Collectively, it was unstoppable.
Right. Yeah.
Individually, I'm not quite sure. So you make a good point.
Be interesting to see that fight just as a different angle of this would be a young Professor X.
Aha.
But wouldn't it be simply the way that George Sanders kind of outwitted David in Village of the Damned? Wouldn't it be the
Blocking
same
his
kind of thing?
mind.
Because, but also Professor X would take that kind of fatherly role, and try to kind of, or even talk sense into David, like, this is wrong. You shouldn't,
Well, he would try to train him as a mutant, basically.
But you see,
Yeah.
we're talking
Yeah.
about like they get together and hey, let me go to school. No. If Dr. X is wheeled into this room and then little David comes in, what would immediately happen? And my first initial thought would David would take over Dr. X, but then the more I thought about it, Dr. X's mind, he has such a great control over his mind. He could pierce into David's mind, even if David's reading Dr. X's mind. Dr. X, I think, would be able to manipulate David's mind. That's what I think. He would be able to manipulate the mind of Professor X on a more,
he's more
cerebral level.
yeah.
Well, he's more knowledgeable. He's
more
mature.
experienced in doing that,
Yeah.
too.
and where I think maybe David has the gut, maybe the initial, the strength and power, he doesn't have, the mind isn't quite as sophisticated as Dr. X.
But David had the drive. They all knew that they were there for a higher purpose, and they were there to
Right.
basically take over
But
the
it was,
world.
but it was a one level.
And so his end game was to control everyone else by all means necessary, and what makes Village of the Damned and David, the children in that movie, so compelling was the fact that if they perceived even the slightest threat, not only would they eliminate that threat, but they would use that person against themselves in some sort of
Right.
weapon. So he could basically immediately have Professor X pull himself out of his chair, and he would already be distracted by the pain of being out of his chair.
No, see,
don't think so.
No, I don't
I
buy
think
it.
as the process, let's say that starts to happen, Dr. X, as he's being pulled out of the chair, could immediately, in his mind, say, David, your hand is on fire. Or David, you're... And
He also has defenses.
Yeah,
There's
David-
defenses
yeah.
that can just
Right.
reflect those...
I agree with you that David has power, but I think that David's power level, it's like a one level. It's not three-dimensional thinking, if you will. You know, it's very simple. It's very cut and dry. That's how I see it.
And there would be no appealing to his humanity, because the idea that he is just this, young kid who's still immature, he's immature in his powers. I don't think there's ever a human side that you see to those kids. They are they are just building their power as they get older, as they mature quickly. They're just getting more and more power, and that's what they're waiting on. There's no kind of maturity level. They just want to get to a place where they can finally make the ultimate attack and take over.
What do you think?
Xavier's got so much more of he's got the maturity, the wisdom, the experience. I just have to go with him.
Yeah,
I think so too.
the power level alone, I think he's just got more power than single David.
David,
I don't think it would be easy though. I think it would be a crafty, competition. But
I think
he
this is a great matchup. I don't think it's a slam dunk, because my first thing was to go to opposite, but now the more I've thought about it, I do think it's Dr. Xavier. So that's how I feel. Dr. X. Sean?
That's a good one. Yeah, I think Dr. X.
Matt?
Professor X.
Oh, definitely Professor X.
There you go. David, but
All
good
right.
one though.
You didn't ask what I thought.
David?
Professor X.
Oh.
Although I think if David had time to mature, even a couple weeks, we don't even know what his potential was.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting, like if we ever saw any of those kids grow to adulthood. What kind of powers would they have? Would they be like this omnipotent?
It would be an omnipotent. It would be an omnipotent hive mind.
On a totally unrelated subject, though, do you ever get the feeling? Do you love that movie because the little character's name is David and you're David? Do you ever feel like, oh, if only I had that kind of power, I could use it on there?
Oh my God! I learned something every episode about you. Wow. You ever sit in the back of your mind and you think, man, if I just had the ability to take over people's minds and destroy them.
Larry, I knew you were going to say that before you said it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hope you're not suggesting that that's what I would do.
No.
Because if you
Perish the
Not
thought.
for lack of trying.
No, because I believe in that. With great power comes great responsibility. So I would not be.
Thanks, Uncle Ben.
So I would not be messing up people's minds.
Unless
they did you wrong.
James,
So you're Charlie X.
Okay.
oh, you want a Cabbage
you're
Patch
Charlie
doll,
X.
huh?
Now, can I just throw in Charlie X in the mix and see what would happen? What if it was Charlie X versus Professor X?
Yeah, because Charlie's very immature.
Yes,
very
and-
immature.
And he is even infinitely more powerful than David, because he could change your reality, remove your face because he wants to.
Yes, but I think it would be a more equal match is Charlie X and Anthony from the Twilight Zone, because they're similar in
mindset,
in mindset. Yeah, they're both kids.
Couldn't Charlie X just take Professor X's mind and just turn it into a sponge or something? And
That's
then
what I'm
it.
saying.
He's done.
But if he had the chance to,
no, if he, I think X would still get him, but
X could sort of shield his mind.
Yeah.
I would think.
But this is you taking 2 turns.
Okay.
So
You can skip me next time.
No. We're not going to skip you. You're our
It's
guest.
free
All right.
association.
But James,
I do seem to recall in the previous episodes of Vol 1 and Vol 2, you guys would volley other ones. Didn't you?
Yes, we would. Yeah,
true, especially in
Yeah.
Vol 2.
And each one of your turns is like 5 turns.
I beg to differ, sir.
James, what do you got?
Pennywise.
Okay.
which Pennywise?
Pennywise of It
It.
from 2017.
Okay.
Okay.
Or the novel
Okay.
versus the Babadook. Because there are a lot of parallels.
Yeah.
These are both supernatural beings
Yeah, supernatural
that
beings.
prey on
Fear
vulnerability and fear.
Yeah, but how intelligent is the Babadook though? You don't really get a sense of. It's a more primal entity,
True.
whereas Pennywise is a thinking, cunning, scheming, evil personality.
But in the Babadook, you've got a very protective mother who is still fighting the challenge of her life against this creature, whereas in It, all you need are some kids to get together and defy him in order to get an edge, even if temporarily.
Pennywise also can kind of create anything to scare you. Like it, right? I mean,
Yeah, but the Babadook can get inside your head in a way I don't think Pennywise can.
yeah,
Oh.
See, now
interesting.
initially I would think Pennywise just because of, as you were saying, the ability to have reality changed around you
Right.
whenever he has one of these hellish scenarios that he wants to
Right.
use to, mess up your world. With the Babadook, I don't really see the weaknesses. The weaknesses with Pennywise are all around the fact that some kids can get the upper hand, at least temporarily. But he's always hanging around. I didn't see in the Babadook, I didn't really see him defeated.
Not completely.
Not completely.
Not
no.
completely. It's interesting. I don't know if I have a clear winner, frankly.
Yeah, that's
I would
interesting.
I would side more toward the Babadook because of some of what he manages to accomplish. To me, is more terrifying than what Pennywise managed to accomplish.
Pennywise puts on a good show, but when it comes down to it, to the brass tacks, he retreats pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
again,
you're
like,
right.
I
He's more of
think-
a showman.
He's like
whereas-
trying too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of like what the movie was doing.
He's like,
Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
no, but if he really gets what the reaction that he wants, he feeds off of that. But if it's not quite landing
Right.
the way he wants, he sort of regroups to try again in a
He
different way.
climbs out of a movie screen.
And,
You know, it's like,
and a bunch of kids defeated
was
him.
scary.
Right. A bunch of kids defeated him. Would those kids be able to defeat the Babadook?
no.
Well,
I mean,
and
and
think
also
the
the
Babadook
kids.
terrified that adult so completely that those kids would blow their minds.
I think the Babadook is more subtle in its machinations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
I'd go with the
So
Babadook.
maybe the Babadook.
Okay, so are we
Baba.
Babadook?
Baba.
Babadook.
All right, Babadook.
Oh,
wow. That's a
Okay.
unanimous one.
All right.
First one.
Although I love Pennywise.
Nice one.
I do.
Hey,
Nice one.
Thank you very much.
All right. I guess it's my turn.
guess
It
so.
is. All right.
The
All right.
floor and the hour is
All right.
yours.
Yeah, we got good half hour. Smoke them if you got them.
The Squid from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from 1954 versus the Squid from Mysterious Island, 1961.
Ooh.
Now, I just want to throw out, everyone's going to go, oh, there are two squids. Well, I just want to say, in the Squid from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Squid grabs a hold of the submarine.
Right.
They take it to the
Nautilus.
surface, okay?
Right.
And in Mysterious Island, the squid has a big shell.
Yeah, it's a nautilus.
It's a- yes, yes.
It's actually not a squid.
Well,
right.
yes, a nautilus. A nautilus. It has, but it has the tentacles and a big shell.
Yeah.
We don't
So
really see it do much though. In Mysterious Island. I mean, it grabs a
Yeah,
couple
yeah.
scuba divers.
So with that being said, these two squid-like creatures are thrown into a room. Two squids enter, one squid leaves.
Is there water in this room?
Yes, it's a
Okay,
tank.
Very important.
is there a Horda nearby?
There is not.
Okay.
Anything else?
Is Squiggy in this room?
No. Okay. No. Are you
Yeah.
thinking about Squiggly Diddly, the little octopus
No, I'm
cartoon?
talking about Lenny and Squiggy. Squiggy.
All right.
I
So
think, I
Is there
think
spinach?
I'm going to go with the 20,000 League Squid because I think size wise, I think it's a little bigger too, and it just seems a little more ferocious to me. Mm-hmm. Like, didn't the divers kind of come across the creature in the Mysterious Island?
Yeah.
Whereas the squid went after the Nautilus,
Yeah.
right? It's more. It seems like it's more aggressive.
yeah,
So I think that squid.
Matt.
And that's called the Nautilus? I didn't even know what that thing was called.
It's
My son knows the name of it, and I
Yeah.
should know it too.
Really?
But I've had
Because it's-
one too many, so it's not coming to me exactly.
It's like-
actually
Me too.
it's got a nautilus shell.
Nautilus shell.
It's been a
And
long day in
but it's-
cocktails.
Yeah, but it's not. It's actually not. I'll find the name for it. But we'll call it a nautilus for now. Just
The
so you get
fact that
vibe
it
the two.
has that big shell is a good thing to have in a fight.
Yeah.
It's like armor.
Yeah,
So that's
it's
great.
a defensive thing.
And
But
yeah,
how agile is it? Though?
it's not agile, and but doesn't need to be, because if the squid is just coming at it,
right.
can't it just go into the shell and just wait it out?
Maybe
and
like
then
a
what
mollusk.
if it grabs a hold of the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea
ammonite.
squid.
It just popped back in my head.
The
It's called an
ammonite.
ammonite.
Thank you.
Ammonite.
Thank you.
Ammonite.
And that was with the
Okay.
help of not finding it on Google, and then I found it in my brain. Thank you.
There you go.
Wow. I watched it happen.
But
It's
if he
the
sucked
truth.
it into his shell, and then slowly it went,
Right. Okay.
James?
The 20,000 League Squid has always been just so impressive and
Yeah,
so
it's so-
ominous.
yeah,
I
I just think
would
so.
always have to side with that.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I think so.
Well, plus the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea squid can handle an electric shock, which is pretty
True.
intense. But in Mysterious Island, they're shooting it with these sort of
Ray guns.
laser blade, this blade
Yeah.
sounding rays, and
Right.
But the shell is definitely a way of hiding.
Right.
But then again, you've got this sort of killer beak on the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Yes.
But I would say the edge is to the Nautilus killer.
Yeah, it's
Right.
funny. I would agree. I kind of think it would be the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea squid. I think it would be a bitter match.
Although he only has one eye, so it only takes one poke to get him. Whereas if you have the Nautilus, he's got two eyes. The ammonite. The squid from 20,000 Leagues, doesn't he have one just giant?
Is it just one eye?
No, I think he has two.
I think
they all
He has
squids have two eyes,
He has
right?
two eyes, I think.
Is it just one eye you ever
But
saw?
regardless, you have these two squiddly like creatures go at it.
Oh wait, I'm thinking of Popeye.
One of them's a snapper.
I don't think it would be a slam dunk, but I
Yeah,
would
yeah, I
side
think-
with James. I think it's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And
Yeah, interesting.
yeah, I think I'd go with that
Matt?
too. I'll
Okay.
go with that. Just agility and just pure strength.
yeah, and also Sean brings up. I do think it's more aggressive.
I think it's
Yeah.
just it's a fighter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right.
cool.
All right. Well, since we're on sea type creatures,
Hey.
here's one: the amphibian man from Shape of Water
Oh, that's timely.
versus the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Oh, that's easy. That's easy.
What
Is it?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's the amphibian man
Why?
because he's almost godlike.
Well, he has regenerative powers.
Yeah, he can make other people regenerate.
I don't think he's as strong as the creature, though, Matt.
We don't. But see, we
We
haven't.
don't
We
know
haven't.
that.
We don't know that he's not.
But the creature, both the
He's
creature
mu-
and the amphibian
half-
man, can stay only can stay out of water for a certain period of time.
Right.
They're both the
And the
same.
amphibian and the amphibian and the amphibian man and the amphibian life. The amphibian man is out of water for a large portion of that movie. And so I would think as the movie, I mean, he gets weaker and weaker. He's already weak from the beginning because he's being moved out of that confinement area.
Right.
When he's in that area, he seems pretty strong.
Right. But so he regenerates. He is shot. And at
Yes.
first he seems to die.
Yes.
But he is able to regenerate himself.
Yes.
However, it's not quickly and it's not easy.
Yes.
But the creature has been shot multiple times.
Yes.
Set on fire.
Yes.
Survived 3 movies. Survived genetic alteration. I'm just saying that in a fight, in a room, or in a lagoon, I think the creature might have it.
Yeah.
Well,
might
but
have it.
this is good. But Sean, remember, it's not like the creature goes through all this and isn't affected. He is messed up. Man.
Well, yes,
he is.
but
he is.
but he keeps
mad.
coming back.
He is-
The fight in his head. is
and
like-
and you bring up a good thing about the amphibian man. The thing that gets me is because the amphibian man does have that power to regenerate. And say what you will, it happens much faster than if the creature can. Oh, let me come back. He can't come back quite like the amphibian man.
But as a-
But he could always tap out of the ring, and then Uncle Gilbert could come in.
That's true.
Uncle Gilbert, I think, would win.
Versus the creature.
No,
You don't know what
no,
he's
Because he
got
can
under
drive a
that trench
car.
coat.
No,
He can get luggage.
He can buy a hat.
Yeah, he can buy a hat.
Well, isn't amphibian man also more intelligent? Creature's more of an
he is,
animal.
but is he a
Amphibian-
fighter though? That's what I'm saying.
He's a lover.
Is he a ruthless?
lover,
yeah, you're right though. He's more human.
Oh, that's
I
how
think.
he does it.
He's more human than the creature.
That's how he does
Wait,
it.
what? What?
He's-
But he'll
Yeah.
bite off a finger at the moment's notice.
True. True.
He will defend himself.
but the creature will slash somebody's face.
See,
and
that's-
that's notice
All he
too.
has to do is just go to the creature and just go, "Hey, man. Hey, baby.
See, I do think the brute.
Who hurt
strength-
you?
No, dude. I think the brute strength really goes to the creature from the Black Lagoon. I'm with Sean on that.
I don't think-
I'm
I
saying,
think
I'm saying that
amphibian
there would be a close call.
No, amphibian man is strong. I'm
We
not saying-
never saw the amphibian man at his full strength. The only time we
True,
saw him
we don't know.
close was in that tank,
That is
and he
true.
was very fierce.
that and agile in the water.
Yes.
No, I will give you that. I will.
So
give
I
you
think
that.
if you've got the amphibian man, top of his game, strong,
smart.
way smarter than the creature.
Yeah.
I think he could come out ahead.
Now,
in
both
that
of these
fight.
entities are suckers for love.
True.
And
true.
that's a
They are.
weakness. That's a
So if
potential
Julie Adams
weakness.
walks in the room.
Yeah, but
maybe
creature
they'll
got
just,
no game.
Well, the
Creature's got some game.
He's got no game.
Creature
He's
might-
got no game. Did he ever
might
get
have-
laid? Never.
What?
he
But
might
he's
have-
got
Maybe a
little
female creature.
An underwater
never-
ballet. I mean, come
never,
on.
He never closed the deal.
No, he
He's
didn't.
like the crazy
he never got
stalker.
to
This is-
use that little
listen.
piece that comes out, right?
In fairness,
crazy
no.
stalker.
See, you're in your little imaginary
Like, I think
world.
she likes
No.
me. You know what I'll do? I'll grab her from the boat
Okay.
and take her underwater. Maybe
Grab
she'll
her
love
by
me
the-
then.
But he's primitive. He's primitive. He's confused. He's never seen a beautiful human woman. So
Yeah.
he's
Got no
he's
game.
trying.
We
But
don't-
It's not his
Douchebag.
fault. It's not
What-
his
no,
fault.
what
We've
we-
all stumbled in high school. Okay?
Yeah.
Look,
he's-
what
he's
we
the-
don't
yeah.
know is in a further lagoon down the road. Maybe there's a female creature, and
The
he.
brown
Right, there
lagoon.
must have been a female creature at some point, right?
yeah. At one
Apparently,
point-
he has no game there either because there's no creature. There's no female creature hanging around.
Well, she got
we don't
harpooned.
see her showing up
The
and going,
squid.
"Who's
from-
this?
The squid got her.
Who's this Julie Adams?"
Well, that's like saying, oh, why aren't crocodiles and alligators hanging together? You know, having little alligator
Well, 'cause-
families or something. It's because they're
What?
reptiles.
Now-
you
now
know,
is-
and then it's like
what are
when
you
they do
talking
their
about?
thing, then they move away.
Is this
so
one?
maybe the creature, maybe the female creature, you know, when they have their little thing, then she goes away.
Is this in water or outside of water? Who
Well,
can last
that's a
longer
good
outside
point.
of water?
See, you don't really know. I mean, yes, the amphibian man has been out of water for seems like a long time in the movie, but the creature has too, on and off. So, like,
Not
I don't
very
know.
long.
Well, but you don't know though.
Yeah, you do.
You see
those
him.
The only
gills
time we
working
see
hard.
him, the only time we see him out of water for a long time is Creature Walks Among Us, where
Creature,
now he can
creature, he's
breathe.
walking around the.
Yeah, but then he goes back in the water.
Yeah, but maybe
He has to go back in the water, just like the amphibian man. But the amphibian man has godlike powers, which the other one doesn't.
Yes.
And he's got game.
Look,
I
okay.
want to talk about that.
Listen,
I want to talk
no.
about that fight.
Okay,
I want to talk about.
So
Creature
two-
goes into a room
And-
with a bunch of ladies.
Yeah.
Amphibian man goes into a room with a bunch of ladies. Who comes out the happier man?
Okay, well, let's say this.
Gilman.
Let's say this. Let's say it's after awards time or something like that.
Okay, well, no. You have to set this up so my brain can accept it.
awards.
It's
time.
awards time, so
What does that mean?
they're at an awards party.
Yeah.
Okay, no,
the
I'm gonna
creature-
go with your scenario.
Okay, and you know and I would say
They're just out of water, so they're still pretty virile, right?
And yeah, and you know they're wearing their tuxes or something like that.
Okay. Mhm.
And then Phoebe Man
Water-infused tuxes, go
says,
ahead.
"Hey, you know, our film won the best picture award," and all the girls like, "Ooh, hey, that's so great!" And the creature says, "Hey, but my film was in 3D." And that was pretty cool.
I think you've answered your own question.
Look, Matt, all I want to say to your thing is you said that it's a hands down thing. I don't think it's
I don't
quite
think it's
so
hands down.
hands
Just like
down.
Conan versus Terminator, you
Yeah.
think right away, oh, it's going to be Terminator.
Matt,
no,
this is
I
what I'm
think
gonna tell you.
brute strength.
Smarter
No,
and godlike.
Don't be so condescending like that. I'm trying to
Don't be
say to
condescending
you.
to the
let me
creature.
try it again then. Smarter and godlike?
I'm gonna say because the amphibian man, it's true. I do
That's
think
a
he
better
is
reading.
very strong, and because he has that regenerative power,
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards, as much as I'm a creature fan, I'm
And me
leaning,
too.
I'm leaning more towards amphibian man than creature, because you did bring up some good arguments. It's true. I mean, he could be just as have as much brute strength as the creature, but it's the power that I know the creature from Black Lagoon doesn't have, and that is that regenerative power. So I think, as much as I hate to admit it, I would go with amphibian.
Also on
All right,
land,
there
the
we go.
creature walks pretty slowly. He moves very slowly as well. Did we cover that?
But in the
early?
water,
And
So shuffles.
amphibian man can dance.
Yes,
he would win a dance.
You know
A
what?
dance contest.
Yes.
You know, that's something I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, so are we all in agreement?
At the Oscar
think
party,
so.
I think he danced.
All right. Good one.
All right.
Good one.
Yeah, good one.
So we're voting for Doug Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes. Who was a guest on our show?
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Popeye versus Captain America.
Wait.
go.
So we're back to you.
We are back to me.
Yes.
Okay. This is kind of in the same realm, but I think it really makes sense because they're two very similar type characters. So what I've got here is Mighty Mouse
Ooh, I love
versus
my.
Oh, that's good.
Superman.
Oh,
Wait, are we talking about Cocaine Mighty Mouse?
you're talking about the Ralph Bakshi.
Ralph Bakshi.
Bakshi Mighty Mouse.
That's right.
And just to let you know that's people thought that that's what it was.
It was interpreted.
Well, he had magic powder that he would basically snuff up
from
Right,
a flower. A flower. It was like pollen.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with let's go with classic Mighty Mouse.
Okay.
Here I come to save
Yes,
the day.
singing. Yes.
Mighty Mouse is on his way.
Hey, Andy Kaufman's in the room.
First of all, you hit on one thing. We just killed a fly. No.
Did it have a
Fly's
white
still there.
head?
Now we have Norman Bates in the room.
I could kill this fly at any minute.
I don't want to. I'll
Okay.
just sit here.
Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse.
Mighty Mouse, first of all, can sing. So there's that. But that aside, Mighty Mouse, they're basically two similar characters in the sense that, like, Mighty Mouse is really just a mouse Superman.
Right.
What Superman are we gonna use?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're classic.
Are we talking
Superman.
about Christopher?
Kryptonite.
Why don't we go
Christopher
Fleischer
Reeve
because it's animated and
yeah, or
Richard
Fleischer.
Fleischer.
Yeah,
like that,
you're
Max Fleischer.
which I love.
I was going to say your classic comic book Superman.
So we'd say
which
Flesh.
is the thing that we all agree on, which is like susceptible to kryptonite, strong,
Yeah.
heat vision from the eyes.
Right.
Yeah.
faster than a speeding bullet.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Very, very powerful superhero.
Okay.
But Mighty Mouse, when you watch those cartoons, has similar powers. One
Yeah.
thing I don't remember seeing him do, and he might have because I haven't watched every Mighty Mouse cartoon, but I don't remember heat vision. I don't remember seeing that.
No, no.
But I know that he's strong, he flies, and I think that the fight would go to Mighty Mouse
Really?
because Superman has susceptibility to kryptonite
Right.
and the whole red sun thing.
Yeah.
And Mighty Mouse, as far as we know, doesn't have any kind of vulnerability.
You're right.
Plus
anything at
plus
all.
He's small. He can like
And
dart around super
he's-
speed around.
Yes,
Superman.
he's small and wily and agile.
Well,
Yeah.
but, yeah, like Sean was saying, you guys were using sort of the Ant-Man principle last time.
Yeah, with the
Ant-Man
Hulk,
and the
right,
Hulk.
yeah.
Where
Right.
Mighty Mouse is small enough where he could go down Superman's throat or any other orifice if he wanted to,
well,
true.
And the other thing is that
and punch his way out. What do you think? I don't know. Is he strong enough?
well, mice, their eyesight isn't that great. But I'm guessing a super mouse.
How do you know that?
Wikipedia.
Blind as a mouse.
He has very sharp teeth.
And very good senses, like senses of hearing. So I mean, like the natural things of a mouse, and you've got a bigger mouse that's got intelligence
Right.
and is able to think and
Right.
talk, and
Right.
but so he's already got the natural things of a mouse that are heightened, and you add superpowers to that are probably even more heightened. And I'm going to assume that there might be even more enhanced than Superman's. And he doesn't have to worry about kryptonite or anything like that. If there was kryptonite, he could just kick the shit out of him. Like,
Right.
that would be. You add kryptonite to it, he's done.
Right.
And now you could say that almost about anything with Superman.
That's a good. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
I just wonder what, was there ever an episode or story where there was anything that Mighty Mouse was, was?
And I don't
successful
remember. I don't remember Mighty Mouse ever being defeated either.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, here my 2 cents is this: Mighty Mouse on every level, like you said, he seems to have the same powers. But it's true, I don't remember the heat vision.
No.
Do you remember the heat vision?
I watched Mighty Mouse as a kid. I loved Mighty Mouse. I got to tell you, I can't remember any incident where he was defeated, or I can't even remember what they would do to create some jeopardy in the cartoons,
Right.
other
'Cause he
than
was like-
other people that he would save. The girlfriend would be tied to the tracks or something like that. But
Right.
I don't remember him ever being
Once he showed up,
exposed.
it was done.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, he was there to
Save the day.
kick ass and take names.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, was
save
there
the
any
day.
situation.
But normally that's I like the argument, like with Godzilla. Godzilla versus Gamera. Gamera has never been undefeated, but Godzilla has, and I just can't imagine Gamera being defeated, even though Godzilla is more powerful. And normally that would apply to a case like this, but I think just because the creators of Mighty Mouse never really bothered or thought it was important to have extend the character to the point where he had his own kryptonite, doesn't mean that he doesn't potentially have his own kryptonite. So I don't know if that's
Okay, does anyone remember this then? And I don't. I'm honest. I did not research this, and because I just thought of it, which is I don't remember. Did Mighty Mouse ever go into space? Because we know that
think
Superman
I think
can
so.
do
I think
that,
so.
right?
I think he
Okay.
can go into
Yeah.
space. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they can both go into, because I was trying to think of
Yeah.
like maybe that was like one
Like
element of
air or
weakness that
something like
yeah,
that.
you
Yeah.
bring him up into space and he pops or whatever.
Right.
Okay, let me
Right.
throw this out. When you said, well, Mighty Mouse can go into Superman's throat, and remember Superman's whole body. It's like he's the Man of Steel. It's not like he's the Man of Steel on the outside and inside he's a squishy sponge or flesh. I mean, he's just as strong inside as he is outside.
True.
Well, let me ask you this: Mighty Mouse is extremely mighty because of what? Do we remember why he's mighty? Or he's just mighty. He just is.
I think he
just
I-
is.
It's his origin story.
Yeah.
There is no origin story. Whereas
bitten by a
Superman,
radioactive mouse.
Superman's strength is directly from our sun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we move this room somewhere else,
Yeah.
we don't even need kryptonite. Superman wouldn't have superpowers. But Mighty Mouse, I don't know. He's super mighty wherever you take him, right?
I kind of think that Superman. Everything you said, I totally see it. Mighty Mouse can dart around. Superman. I do think about that heat thing.
How would he ultimately defeat him, though? Like, what would he do?
I guess use his vision to burn Mighty Mouse to a crisp.
He would build a super mouse trap. A super mouse trap.
A mousetrap of solitude.
A little piece of cheese.
Okay, well, here's another thing. Now, he is not a mouse, I'm assuming, that was born in captivity. So if he wasn't, he's probably a wild mouse. And like
Isn't he
wild
just a-
mice
He could be
and rats.
He could be a mouse from space.
Isn't he just a mouse, but he's really a person? Like they're little mouse.
But either
with clothes.
way-
a mouse person?
Yeah, well, like his girlfriend.
not a
and
mouse
he.
person.
Well, they're little people. Do you know what? Do you understand what I'm saying? That they live,
like the anthropomorphic thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, they have little
like
clothes.
Bugs
Have you ever
Bunny
watched
or-
underdog,
cartoons?
like
Like underdog.
You know how
we
like
call it
cartoons? You know how like
Underdog.
cartoons where like a bear can speak and the bear has a family and they go into a house and they live in the house?
Like Care Bears?
sure.
All right, it's not Pinky in the Brain. He was a walking, talking, clothed mouse who happens to be a super mouse.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
But no matter what,
he wasn't found in a lab cage.
no matter what, they're all carrying plague of some sort. Disease.
That could kill Superman.
And that is what I think.
No,
I think Superman dies of the bubonic plague
See,
in
you
Superman
guys-
4 Quest for Peace, doesn't he?
You're jumping into that whole fantasy thing where it's like
because we haven't been.
This is
up to this
reality.
point.
I think
This is
we-
reality, Greg.
It's like, oh, Mighty Mouse has the plague. No, Mighty Mouse doesn't have the plague.
I'm just saying it's a possibility.
Okay, let's say he does have plague.
Okay.
No, let's just say for the sake of argument, no, we're all going to play David's game here. So the mouse has
game.
plague.
I will not
didn't-
take credit for the
he
plague.
Is it
He
your
didn't- yeah, he didn't bring up plague.
So we're all gonna play Matt's game. So Mighty Mouse has plague. Okay.
Okay.
Superman is impervious to that. He it's like plague. You could cough on him, spit on him. He's not going to get any disease. He's in perfect shape. He'll always be in perfect shape. So I don't think the plague argument is a good argument. I can see Mighty Mouse darting around. I just go back to what
I
we
didn't really mean it that
well,
seriously.
all I'm thinking is
trying to get a laugh here. about-
Mighty Mouse.
Sorry.
There's some
Snapper.
unanswered. Listen,
Snapper there.
Listen. Look, okay, we're not even clear about Popeye's one eye. So with Mighty Mouse, we don't know the whole story. What I'm saying is because I know there's at least
I want to
one
read
thing-
his tell-all book, Mighty Mouse, the whole story
Okay, this is all very funny.
Mighty Mouse.
It's very, very funny.
on the National Enquirer. I do not have plague.
There was a rumor that he had plague, but
Yeah, that's how
I
rumors
just go
get
back to
started.
Superman and his heat vision. I go back to that. That's something I'm pretty sure that Mighty Mouse doesn't have. That's the one thing that I think.
It could be a formidable weapon.
And we do, and it's look. I'm admitting to you, Matt. I'm admitting to you. We don't know if Mighty Mouse has any kind of
also-
kryptonite thing out there because we don't know his whole story.
And also, if Superman literally just was able to grab and clutch and grasp Mighty Mouse
Yes.
and squeeze,
Yes.
if he's Superman, I mean,
Yes.
yes, Mighty Mouse
He's-
is super strong, but if
yes,
he's in Superman's hand,
Superman. He's Superman.
yeah, but
hand.
if Mighty Mouse is strong too, then he can just repel that.
but,
No,
but-
no.
Or there's
they would,
or
like-
it's a
they would,
stalemate.
Yeah, I was going to say they'll cancel each other. It's like
Yeah,
you don't
and then
know
they
the
become
level-
friends.
It's like which is Mighty stronger than Super or Super stronger than Mighty? That's the question.
Well, Mikey has more
Dude,
letters.
Listen,
You just blew my mind.
you have brought up a very good
Once
argument.
again, I have.
But I'm going to go around the table. David, what do you think, sir?
It's a draw unless kryptonite's involved.
Okay, James.
I cannot see Superman being defeated by a
refuse
rodent.
to
My money's on Superman. I'm sorry.
Sean.
I think Superman would win.
Matt?
Ultimately.
I'm going with Mighty Mouse.
Okay, and I am okay. So we got 2 Mighty Mouses and 2 Supermans here. Tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
I'm gonna go with Superman.
Yes.
So you guys lose. All right.
Okay.
Moving on.
See, it's like we were never apart.
All right, David. I know this has been loads of fun, hasn't
Okay,
it?
wow.
No,
Hey, where are we going?
I'm laughing.
Wow.
I'm having a good time.
All right, buddy. Your turn.
Larry already has his car started.
I feel like I'm coming down with the bubonic.
No.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
Matilda May, the space
Holy
vampire.
crap.
Matilda
She
May.
wins.
She wins.
wins. Done.
She wins.
Moving
with her
on.
Guys, come on. Guys, come on.
Pure and simple.
Will you? Okay. All right. Let's Mr. Perverts over here.
Yeah.
Can we just have David finish his verses?
All he has to do is
I
say
can't
the
get through
words
it.
Matilda May.
Okay, so Matilda
The
May
beautiful
from
from Life Force.
Life Force.
my
Space
God.
vampire.
Toby
vampire.
Hooper.
She doesn't.
directed.
Her character doesn't have a name. She's just a space
Who's just
vampire.
the
She's just
incredibly hot
Rose
chick.
by any other name.
Okay, so her.
versus. I tried to find something that I think would be equal but different.
Okay.
And this is a general creature from mythology,
Okay.
the succubus.
Oh.
A sexual demon.
Supernatural being.
Oh, it's a supernatural being, Matt. Oh, if I remember last episode.
But I think we might be before you immediately start a fight for no reason, like you do in the rest of your life. Can we maybe agree? Because I think we might be in agreement on this one.
Okay.
I missed something. What did I miss about supernatural?
Well, one is supernatural, and one is alien.
And
Right.
if you recall from the last episode of Who Would Win, when I put 2 characters together and one was the Wampa and the other was Pumpkinhead, Matt's like, that's idiotic. It's a no-brainer. It's
You said it
Pumpkinhead,
just
supernatural.
like
and
that.
I was like, well, I was thinking like furry creature versus naked creature. No, it's supernatural creature. So
Furry creature versus naked?
So
I don't remember this.
You don't
but-
remember this?
But that's funny.
I'm not trying to be funny, Matt. I'm just
Furry
telling
versus
you.
naked?
Well,
that was your
Yeah, that was my.
that was your thought process.
All right, since we're in volume 3 now.
Yes.
So it's either a clean slate or let me ask you this,
All right, go.
because I remember, but I do not recall the ultimate outcome. When Pinhead was it Pinhead versus
Candyman.
So
Oh,
they were
yeah,
both
Candyman.
supernatural.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
There was no other supernatural versus other type of character matchup
I don't think so.
in the history of volume 1, volume 2, and now volume
I
3.
don't think so.
I
I
have
don't
to
know,
go
but,
through
but, but there, there's no rules against
Okay,
that.
so well,
but is there a
let's-
point
I'm just
here?
saying. What do you got?
well,
make your case.
Yeah, well. The point is, you know, you guys are writing it off immediately because there's one supernatural and there's one from Alien from Outer Space. But we know that the alien Matilda May, the alluring Matilda May, the space vampire, essentially,
She wins.
essentially she's a sensual leather bat, but
Right.
she has this incredible power, and that is to suck your life force out and turn you into
It's
a
worth it.
Which is what, but that's what the succubus does too.
So-
succubus. Yeah, the
It
succubus
seduces,
seduces.
then takes your life
So,
force.
Matt, what you're saying then is, if I understand you correctly here, is in this situation that the supernatural creature would lose to the natural alien space vampire. Is that what you're saying?
I think that the succubus would
In
be
so many
so
words.
turned on by Matilda May that she'd just give in. Matilda May has powers
But-
beyond our comprehension.
But can the succubus kind of appear and disappear at will? Because like Matilda May, she's a physical, biological being.
Mm-hmm.
Alien, yes, but she's concrete, she's a corporeal creature. Whereas the succubus kind of comes in your dreams. She kind of comes out of the ether, out of another dimension, even.
Arguably, because a succubus is a demon, potentially, in however you want to play it, she needs to be summoned. I don't know how that plays into
maybe,
this.
right.
How do you get Matilda May to come? That's what I want to know.
You pop in a copy of Life Force. And,
yeah.
But what
You
does
get
this,
Colin Wilson.
what does the succubus do with you? Does the succubus possess you?
No, they
Has sex with you.
I think it's the idea is it has sex with you and then kind of.
Sucks your soul away.
But it can sometimes be like over a period of time.
lucky.
Sometimes in a one night stand or whatever. But it's like they draw life from you.
and procreate with the incubus and go on with to other demonic.
But it's a supernatural creature.
We don't know what else do we know though about the space vampire girl though, as far as her powers, because she kind of has that hypnotic power.
She's
kinda,
yeah.
and she has to physically touch you to draw your
Stop
life force,
saying that.
right?
Okay, but listen. What you guys? It's not like Matilda May comes in and goes to you. It's she goes into this room where the succubus is. So you have the succubus and Matilda May coming at it.
Right.
So
well, that's exactly what we all want. And,
So it's like a hot off.
exactly. It's kind of like that scene in The Fountain from Dynasty, but
Wow.
but he
between
basically-
Linda Evans and
yeah. But you basically get, I would argue that even though you have a supernatural creature, you have this this psychic connection that Sean pointed out, where she could get inside the head of the succubus, Matilda May could, and coerce her into anything that she wants, because she basically hypnotizes her to do anything of her will.
you think the space vampire could hypnotize the succubus?
Absolutely.
Really?
I do.
Possibly. Yeah.
No.
At this table tonight, right now.
Okay.
Let's do it.
No, okay.
I like a man of conviction.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to go out on a limb, only because I was raked through the coals in Volume 2.
You've got a dog in this fight. I see.
I'm just saying. I'm going to go with my dear friend Matt, who pointed out to me about the power of a supernatural creature versus a physical creature, regardless of as how magical the or psychic connection you have. It's a supernatural creature versus a non-supernatural creature. So I'm going to say, is it a slam dunk? Supernatural creature, I think, is always going to win. So I'm going to go with the succubus.
I totally agree. We agree.
You know what? though?
Supernatural
Weren't
creature.
weren't the space vampires? They turned out to be they were kind of ancient beings that had been around forever, right?
right.
They're alien bats, right?
That
Yeah,
were they?
but they were the stuff of legend.
Right.
Right,
But they were not-
but no, but I'm saying maybe they were on Earth before. Maybe the whole legend and creation of the succubus was really the space vampire.
Okay, see,
In,
but-
in
See,
ancient times,
now you're writing
So the
fanfiction.
succubus is
times,
really, so the succubus is a
Space,
cosplayer.
the space vampires were coming, and but the ancient people took them as
Matt.
they created this thing called a
All right, hey,
succubus.
look,
Okay.
come back to reality.
I was gonna say, see, he's
First
just,
of all,
it's like Chariots of
kudos
the
to
Gods.
Sean for
It's
actually
Chariots of the
following the
Gods.
plot of Life Force.
he's a screenwriter. He's a very talented writer. And look, Sean, I commend you for that. But dude, it's bullshit. Okay, it's total
Look,
bullshit.
I hate to agree with Larry, but I do. I think
In
there'd be
that
a
case-
moment where the succubus gotta look at Matilda May and just went, oh, and then that'd be it. The one little moment of
think-
weakness. And
James,
Well, I think Matilda May is in a way a succubus.
Yeah, like she's a
almost by
biological
definition.
but a
by
scientific
definition.
one,
Yeah,
but like
well,
a
alien.
yeah,
Physical-
it's not
physical one.
a biological one.
It's not real. It's
But
not.
I got to agree with you guys. I think that
oh,
the supernatural
yes.
succubus, just because all bets are off, and
All
they-
bets are off.
You know what? Matilda May is controlling my mind, and she wins in this fight.
Okay, so you go with
okay.
Matilda May. James,
succubus.
I say succubus.
I think as much
Go
as
ahead.
I want to go with Matilda May. I think succubus.
Matilda
yes.
May. If
We
you're
all want
listening,
to go with Matilda May.
We're always rooting for you.
We want you on the
It's funny, though,
show.
when you said that, when
Yeah.
you first brought it up, though, David, what occurred to me was maybe a more even playing field would have been Matilda May versus Florence Marley as the Queen of Blood. Because she's a space vampire. So those two at it, they're kind of similar.
Beehive versus nudity.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
But maybe we'll save that for a volume 4.
All right.
Matt, who do you think?
oh, without a doubt, the succubus.
Succubus. All right. But my hat is off to you, sir. That is a nice one.
Oh, good.
Okay.
That was fun. Yes. Thank you for
James?
saying Matilda May again and again.
If you don't know who Matilda May is, you definitely should Google it with all of the parental guidance off.
Yeah.
Now, and,
Yes.
and look, we just want to say for the record here, if you're thinking, I'm going to see Life Force, I'm going to see this great science fiction movie,
Well,
not
Actually, though,
greatest.
but it's a fun movie.
It's fun.
Can I just say,
It's a-
watch it again
Yeah.
and again?
Yeah,
It grows on you.
It does. It does. It's bonkers.
All
The
sorts
movie
of
is
things
bonkers.
grow when you
In
watch
a
that
good
movie.
way.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Just the set design of it, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's a strange. It's a
Yeah.
movie that comes off very different. It's not like anything else.
Right.
Critics panned it.
And
a score by
yeah,
Henry
I-
Mancini that's unlike
Yeah.
anything else he's done.
Yeah.
And yes, it's uneven.
Patrick
but
Stewart
it's,
has hair.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a view.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
James.
Dr. Frankenstein, as portrayed by Peter Cushing in the Hammer films,
Okay.
All right, good.
versus Dr. Van Helsing, as portrayed by Peter Cushing in the Hammer films.
Oh.
Interesting.
Well, they just break each other's hip, and
No, that's interesting.
Well, they're both very, very intense, driven characters, and Cushing was amazing as both of them.
Van Helsing's more of a fighter, though. He knows how to fight.
Dr. Frankenstein, though, as Cushing portrayed him, is freaking ruthless.
Well, he's ruthless
I-
and cunning, but is he a physical fighter?
Well,
You know.
Dr. Frankenstein has got. Does he have his lab at his disposal? Chemical burns?
Hey,
Anyone?
Throw them in a room. 2 doctors enter, and then.
But other
one
folks
leaves.
can have. The Terminator can have his weapon, and Conan can have his sword.
Yeah, we've said that
Dr.
weapons-
Frankenstein
Yeah.
could have his lab equipment.
Van Helsing would
Yeah.
have his steak and mallet. You know.
I'd take a beaker over a steak any day.
Okay.
well, Dr. Frankenstein is completely amoral. He's got ambition on his side. He's generally evil. Van Helsing is a very, very powerful force of good,
Yeah.
and very powerful, very strong as well.
Yes.
Which was it's just a credit to Cushing that he could play polar opposite characters so well
Yeah.
multiple times.
it seemed like he got even worse as he went along.
Yeah, like by the time-
as Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
By the time you get to Frankenstein, the monster from hell,
Yeah,
like,
he's nuts.
He's just like,
Yeah.
he's like,
So I'm gonna go out on a limb here, James. I'm gonna say Van Helsing because I think Van Helsing has an even keel through the films, whereas Dr. Frankenstein, you're right. He gets progressively worse. I
Yeah.
think. I would say nutty. So I would say as angry and as fierce or nasty as Dr. Frankenstein would get in a battle, I think Van Helsing would keep his mind through the whole thing.
I think so too, because Van Helsing, let's face it, time and time again, he's up against one of the most powerful evil beings ever, Dracula, and almost always
And he was
always
intelligent as well.
wins. Right. So I think he is an expert at combating evil.
And who
he
said
would-
it? That he's a better fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a
he's a
scrappier
physical fighter
fighter.
as well as
Yeah,
as
yes.
And
Van
Doc-
Helsing will get into a physical altercation
Right.
and fight with
he'll
the best
get into
of them.
those thorn bushes and just like go at it.
Yeah.
And that's all he wants to do is
Yeah.
defeat evil. Whereas Dr.
Right.
Frankenstein, he's got this agenda, like, I have
Yeah.
to recreate this life. And so I agree. I can't.
Yeah,
it'd be-
right. He wants to cut bodies up and drink cognac.
At all costs. That's what
And he
wants.
wants everybody like accolades thrown at him.
Van
Right.
Helsing,
Yeah.
was-
He wants the people at the academy to
Yeah.
recognize
Yeah.
him.
And he's much more fearless too, Van Helsing.
Yeah.
I mean, would you really go into the basement of a lightless place to confront Dracula?
Right.
I mean, would you have the balls to be able to do that?
You know what? You're right. The bravery card, I think, goes to Van
Yeah,
Helsing
courage.
more than Dr. Frankenstein. Yes, courage. No. I agree with you, sir. And
Yeah.
that says a lot.
Dr.
Although there
Frankenstein-
does take a certain amount of courage to bring something that was dead to life and then think you can reason with
But
it.
that's more. I think that's more ego.
Ego?
mania.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
so.
You know,
All right, no, I'll buy that. I'll
ego,
buy
Matt.
that.
You know,
Bravado
you're familiar with
versus
it,
bravery.
right?
Yes, Larry, I understand.
Bravado versus bravery.
I bring myself to life every morning.
Okay, so
And
David.
also-
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say also Frankenstein wouldn't do a lot of the deeds himself. He would have other people do them.
True. He hires like young assistants to
Yeah.
go do things.
Right, he gets-
Sometimes
yeah.
hot assistants.
Yeah. yeah.
Van Helsing would be waiting in the room, and then like some poor intern would show up. Why am I here?
yeah.
Yeah,
Frankenstein slammed the door behind him.
You know, the only requirement for help for Frankenstein is, do you have a hump?
right.
So, David, you say
Peter Cushing as
that's great. Van Helsing
either
or
way.
Dr. Frank?
Grand Moff. Oh wait,
No.
no. I definitely go with Van Helsing. I
Van
think
Helsing.
he's
Matt?
I think we're
scrappier.
unanimous.
Yeah.
Van Helsing.
Yeah,
All
Van
right.
Helsing.
I do too.
Unanimous. Yep.
All right. Well,
that was a good one. That was fun.
Well, speaking of hump, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, now,
Good segue.
This is because this might be a little crazy, and don't jump on it right away. Think about it, okay?
Wait a minute.
Listen.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Imagine the character Fritz, played by Dwight Frye in Frankenstein from 1931, versus Daniel, played by J. Carrol Naish from The House of Frankenstein.
Oh.
Now, I think you have one that's a bit more brutal than the other one. So now, granted, both characters have a demise that is tragic for both of them, but still, by themselves, if you had these two hunchbacks going at it.
So J. Carrol Naish.
J. Carrol Naish. And by the way, I just wanted to point out that J. Carrol Naish, did you know he was nominated for 2 Academy Awards? And one was for the film Sahara from 1943 with Humphrey Bogart. That's about the tank during World War II.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great, great film.
He was a great actor. He always played like different ethnicities.
He was in like over 200 movies.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And he's one of these guys who's a great character actor.
Well, I would say Daniel, he's more tragic and more of a feeling.
Yes.
He's a good person.
He is.
Fritz is a sadistic bastard.
He is a sadistic
You know,
bastard.
and
he
not
does-
that smart either.
Fritz
No.
does bad things because he's kind of just this nutcase.
He's kind of a thug, though.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a thug.
And a bully.
He is.
Yeah,
He is.
He's cruel. I mean, he tortures the monster. And,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Daniel would never do
Daniel
that.
would never
No,
do
Daniel's
that.
not cool.
So on one hand, you have a guy who is a bit of a brute, but he has this kindness streak in him.
And isn't he promised by the doctor that he
Yes,
can fix his hump?
yes,
So
yeah.
he's also hopeful that he's not always going to be this kind of
in a strange way,
malformed-
he's like being extorted.
like?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like you. Oh! I think no. David doesn't like this one. Okay. Well, you do like it. You do like this one.
I love it.
Okay, James, do you like this one?
I do.
Okay. So what do you think, James?
Fritz. Daniel's just too empathetic.
Do
He's
you
just like-
do you feel that in a battle, it's like they would be fighting, and maybe Daniel might have the upper hand, but I think Fritz would take a dagger out of his sock.
Yeah, he would
just
play
ram-
dirty. He would play dirty,
That's
and Daniel doesn't know how to do that.
That-
I think.
I think Daniel would cower in the corner.
no,
No,
I don't,
no, no.
I don't think.
I think Fritz is like all bullies.
Yeah.
He's really a coward, and he only hits at someone who is like he only messes with the Frankenstein monster when he's chained.
He's chained up,
Yeah.
Right.
and he feels so powerful. Yeah,
And from what I remember of those movies, the type of murders and things that he does, it's all done in a very squirrely kind of way.
Yeah, and
Right.
when Daniel actually comes to the rescue of the gypsy.
The gypsy
Yeah.
girl,
Yeah,
Rita.
Yeah, and so
He's
but
scrappy.
But I'm gonna go like what James said. I think in a fight, I think Fritz would play dirty, and I think he would have.
Yeah, I think
like, a dagger
unfortunately,
and-
I think
and-
he would just somehow get the upper hand. Like, I would
Whether it's-
want Daniel to win, but I think it would be
it's like
Fritz.
Daniel's trying to fight with his fists or something, and then he gets him in a neck hold, and Fritz would actually bite him, grab
Fritz,
his balls
or Fritz would
something.
pretend
and,
to kind of go
you know,
unconscious. He would pretend to like fall unconscious and then like pull up a.
I just think that Fritz would be more brutal.
Well, Daniel's also got the hump. and
They
that's
both
gonna
have
be
humps.
Yeah, but Daniel's hump I think is more of a
But you're saying that his hump is bigger than Fritz's hump?
for some reason they made him slower. J. Carrol Naish in that movie was not necessarily that swift.
That's true. Fritz is a little more squirrely.
You bring up a good point. David?
Fritz.
Matt?
Actually, I'm leaning towards Daniel.
Ooh.
Interesting.
And I think that Fritz, sure, he might fight dirty, but I also think that he's not that smart, and I think he's a sloppy fighter, and I think that you'd be able to see, his dirty fighting coming from a mile away. And I don't see him as being a good fighter. Whereas J. Carrol Naish, he's scrappy.
See, I think that Fritz just seems more experienced to me at just being just nasty. But Sean, what do you think?
I mean, I would be rooting for Daniel, but I think Fritz would ultimately get him.
Yeah, see, that's kind of how I feel too.
Yeah.
All right, good.
I live in hope.
Yeah, you like?
Yeah.
Hey, hunchbacks.
All
Okay,
We love them.
Sean.
All right. Okay, this is one that I think we'd kind of all like to see this fight. Barbarella,
Ooh.
Matilda May.
well, close, versus Stella Star. One room. One chick has to come out alive. Or
Who's
That's
got
it.
the higher
Dude.
thigh-high boots in that particular fight?
right.
Sean, that is just cruel.
I think this is a
That is
slam dunk.
Really?
For who?
Stella Star.
Why though? 'Cause
She's tougher. She's a fighter. Barbarella
I
kind
think
of
so, too.
sexes her way through
Well,
situations.
Barbarella is much more innocent and naive.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, maybe by the end of her kind of adventure, she's more of a fighter. But Stella, right out the bat, is kind of like
She's a warrior.
kind of kick ass.
Yeah,
she's
and
hired to do this mission.
Working on the other side of the law and
Yeah. But it depends too, though, on the fight. Like, are they using their ray guns, ray rifles? Or are they just fighting? Who's better at hand-to-hand combat?
I
still think Stella
I think
Star,
Stella
yeah.
Star. I'm
Okay.
gonna. This is really cool. I think it's a neat battle, but it doesn't really matter what kind of weapons
armed
are
with
thrown in
pillows.
there.
What do you think?
But I do think Stella Star. I think it would overpower Barbarella. I do.
Okay.
I don't think that she uses the sex appeal quite like Barbarella does, and so I think that's something that.
Well, yeah. I mean, Barbarella wouldn't be able to use that.
No,
on
no.
Stella. So
No, it'd be
it's like
pointless.
She has to step up and
Yeah.
really be able to fight.
She'd be like, "Look, I'm clearly hotter than you." So
If they have a hot off.
there you go.
But
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I think.
What do you think?
I agree. I think it's sexuality versus ingenuity. I don't know. I think Stella Star is a more formidable warrior.
Yeah.
Barbarella does stumble kind of her way through things. You
And
know.
she got lucky.
She needs Duran to save her. Really,
That's true.
Right. She got lucky
Yeah.
so many times in the bird house thing.
Yeah,
She falls through the floor.
She's rescued
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
actually, in addition
Yeah.
to fighting. So
And I'm not talking about Duran the band, which
Professor
got the name
Duran
from
Duran.
Duran. the winged
Duran
creature.
has saved us all.
Yes.
That is a really good
Okay,
one,
yeah.
though. But I think, are we all in agreement here?
Yeah.
yeah, I think
James?
it's Stella.
Yeah, Stella Star.
Yes.
Caroline
Yeah.
played by the beautiful Caroline Monroe.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice one,
which
Sean.
movie would you choose? Movie versus
I
movie.
love both movies.
Star
Yeah.
Crash versus
Ow,
Barbarella.
Barbarella is by far a better movie.
Oh well,
By far a better movie.
But as entertaining, I think they're both equally entertaining, though. I mean, yes, Star Crash is like silly
When
and
was the last
ridiculous.
time you watched
Last night.
Star Crash? Oh yeah.
No, I watch it all the time. See
David,
both movies many
no,
times.
no.
They're
I'm going
both
to say
great.
Star Crash, I actually saw that in the movie theater when it came out. And I loved, yes, it's hokey. Yes, it's got goofy things and the special effects aren't the greatest. But there was something special about the beautiful, colorful Christmas lights in space.
It's
Barbarella,
I enjoy the movie, but between the two, Star Crash, you feel the screen time after a while.
But also, it's not.
You don't feel that with
Yeah.
Barbarella.
But once
And
David
Barbarella is a-
Hasselhoff comes, it's just
well,
screen.
then you're
But
right.
also
Then I get lost
Barbarella-
in his eyes.
And Star Crash was a cash in on a popular, craze, and Barbarella is such a unique movie based on, I think, a French comic.
Yes,
I think
yes, that's correct.
So, there still isn't really any movie like Barbarella.
No.
So yeah. I mean, but I love both movies.
I say
And-
they're both winners.
All right.
It's a draw.
Yes.
All right. Matt, back to you, buddy.
All right. Here it's going
Give
to
us a
get
good one.
A little controversial.
Oh no.
Okay, ready? Okay, before you jump on me, I will explain this.
Okay.
So it's God or Jesus
Okay.
versus Satan. As portrayed in movies and all kinds of movies. And so now, initially, what we get of Jesus and the King of Kings, and he's able to bring people back from the dead, and he has these powers, and ultimately he helps you with salvation and stuff like that. But then you get into movies like The Exorcist, and it seems like it's harder and harder to get God to get on your side. For example, The Exorcist. The Exorcist, so you got the possessed girl. You would think that all it would take is one prayer, right? To go, hey, Jesus, my daughter's possessed. Oh, well, I get out of here, Satan. Done, right? But no, it's not that. It's you got to bring in an exorcist. They do this whole ritual. They have to keep coming back and doing it again and again, and it's like. So what I'm confused is in the movies, as portrayed in the movies, it seems like God is really reluctant to help in these supernatural matters, whereas Satan or the devil is way more aggressive when it comes to fucking with us.
And more imaginative.
Yeah. And when I say the battle between the two, I mean kind of more like through their works. So it's less of a like going into a room and fighting each other.
Well,
it's more of like their works.
In God's case, I think he's very into testing faith, and a movie
Okay.
like The
Right.
Exorcist
Okay.
is a textbook case in that.
Textbook.
Putting the characters through these paces, all the characters.
And ultimately, what happens?
Ultimately, I
See,
get it. You go to heaven and you're redeemed. I
no.
understand that, but like, there's a lot of them where it takes this entire toll, and I don't understand. Like, especially like a priest. These guys are. Yeah, I know they might have some problems with faith, but like they're up against a demon.
Yeah.
And if anybody needs some help, they need it quickly. I just don't understand the lag time.
I think it depends on God's mood. It's like the story of Job.
Right.
He's going to be like, let's put this person through the ringer. Let's pretty much take away everything that's important to this person. Let's see if he still is interested and still believes in me.
But isn't that kind of
And it's a
sadistic
wager
and
between
egomaniac?
God
Okay.
and the devil just for their entertainment.
Okay, you're
That's the
getting
story
into
of Job.
kind of a weird thing. There's more. There's like Job. There's Abraham. When Abraham actually has his son on a rock, and he
Right.
goes, "Well, I'm told I got to kill my son." God tells me to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then right at the moment, God says, "No, I was just testing you.
Yeah.
Just testing you.
Yeah.
No, you put that
Now,
knife
do
away."
you think God would have felt badly and at fault if he didn't stop him?
No,
in
because
time?
God knew. He knew, and so
story.
it goes with James. I think it's a whole faith thing. Let's test your faith. God's never going to like jump right in and go, "Oh, let's fix this problem." It's always testing the people, their faith level.
Right.
kind
Well,
of
yeah,
thing.
but
But let me
And
just,
we're
and again, this is all. I'm not talking about the Bible. I'm talking about as portrayed in movies.
So we're,
specifically.
but
so we're
it's like-
talking about George Burns. Oh God, you devil!
Okay, but that's and that's one. Now that one would be a different kind of. I'm talking more of like horror movies,
Right.
Not like a satirical.
Well,
then we could
yeah.
also get like Peter Cook and Bedazzled. That
Right,
could be
right.
another type.
But like, how often in movies then do you see a character possessed by God? You see characters possessed all the time by demons or Satan or the devil, and the havoc that wreaks.
See,
but like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it like that's my question, which is, so you've got someone who is a demon is possessing someone. Now, a test of faith. The minute I see someone floating and vomiting pea soup, I'm like,
Right.
I believe.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm down.
Okay.
But apparently that's not a test enough. We got to have all this
Yeah,
other stuff and
yeah.
all that.
Right.
And to me, it's just like, it seems like
I think it goes too far.
people have to work a lot harder to get God's attention than the other way around.
Well, look,
Right.
if ultimately you're saying, look, so these two entities enter a room, one leaves. What you're saying is in all these things, it's always the devil possesses. So the devil's always trying to cause a problem. Okay, and eventually God may make people suffer, or whatever, but eventually God will follow through, and God will defeat the devil.
So it's like he ultimately wins the battle.
he wins the battle.
but
yeah.
But puts people through
but
the
there's a
ringer
lot of
and the-
battles. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of.
I'm just saying.
He ultimately
wins
wins
the
the
war.
fight or
In-
wins the war,
war.
right? But the battles, it seems like there's quite a few too many battles, and the battles go on a little too long. Where it's like, okay, we get the point.
Yeah, but the topic is not who will battle the longest. It's who will win, and it's an interesting argument. But I think in the examples that you give, it's like God will always triumph over good. Always triumphs over evil. God always triumphs over the devil.
Well, but some of the time, but
Some of the
some of
movies-
the movies they don't. Like in The Omen or something,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
keeps coming back.
whoa, wait,
Yeah.
whoa, slow down there, partner.
No, because that's a very good point.
Yeah, it is, but there's 3 movies. There's not
there's
just one
4.
movie.
There's 4.
Well, yes. But in the third one, in Final Conflict,
Right.
ultimately, even though when my daughter and I watched it, she was really pissed off because she thought
Yeah,
that
it was a cop-out.
we both disliked it,
Oh,
you know,
right, it's not a
and
good
but still ultimately good won over evil. God won over the devil. So
right. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know. It's like you say, as far as if you look at it that way, I guess, and most of the time, cinematically, in the end, God wins. But there's a hell of a lot to go through.
Well, there's a lot of, like I'm saying, like, okay, let's say you go into war, and ultimately you win the war. But
at a huge cost.
The huge cost of the hell that you went through. There are people who are veterans whose lives are just changed forever
Yeah, but
because
that's-
of what they've seen and what they've gone through.
That's man versus man, though.
Well,
That's
I know, but what I'm
mankind.
saying is that is that it seems to me like there's a heavy cost. Like even in those Omen movies, there's a lot of people that die and
Yeah.
they're killed.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're
Well, it's easier. It's easier.
not necessarily terrible people. They're kind of like
No.
collateral damage.
Yeah.
You know?
It's also so much easier to be like Satan is ready and willing at every moment to tempt you and bring you over.
Right.
Like it's like at the snap of a finger. If you show any sign of interest, you know you can get caught in the trap.
Yeah,
You know.
But it's, in movies, it seems like it's not even. You don't even need that. All you need to do is just be.
Right, you can be.
it can buy the wrong house.
That's true. That's
you know?
true. It can be completely random, innocent. Like in The Exorcist, you know, Reagan is this girl. You know, on the other side of the world, you know, there's this ancient statue that's found. You know, Pazuzu, whatever, and a strange coincidence, like something's released, and just randomly, supposedly, right? I mean, this girl in Georgetown is picked, and suddenly she's possessed by this demon. It's like, right, you're right. She's not asking for it. You know, it's
Yeah. Well,
it's the
Pazuzu is also a
randomness.
poser. He's passing himself off as the devil, but he's just
True.
he's not.
That's true.
I digress. Now I'm
Well, but
also
no, that's
try-
a good point because I mean, as a department head,
Yeah,
Which would be-
he uses lots of demons and underlings.
yeah,
He
and you
has
know
a lot-
you can't be
yeah.
on. You know, I'm sure. Now, was that with Satan's blessing?
we don't know. I think Pazuzu just wanted to. He had a.
Yeah, weekend
He
pass.
had delusions of grandeur, and he wanted to pass himself. It's like no one's going to check my credentials.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to say I'm the devil. But they determined that he was Pazuzu. But and I digress.
That's
But what I was
true.
going to say, you know, trying to wrap my head around the physicality of all this. God has some scrappy moments too. If you look at the Ark of the Covenant, for example.
Oh, that's a good point.
Right.
That's a good
You
one.
know,
Yeah, that's
He-
a good one.
He comes out and he doesn't like absolve everybody. He basically just
Right.
wipes out every evil person who even looks at him. He almost took out Indy and Marion. They can't look. 'Cause
Right.
If they
Right.
did, he would have taken them out too, and that would be collateral damage.
Well, see, and that's kind of my question once again as we're talking about films. Even that, which is great because now you're it's God going after Old Testament wrath,
Nazis.
going after the Nazis. Who can't get behind that? But then you also
Yeah.
don't look. Well, what if I
What if I want to see the beauty
what
of
if-
God?
Or what if I all
Well,
of a sudden
that's Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's another one where
like humility.
But what if I accidentally go, what if I
one
get something in my
second.
eye?
You know what?
Oh, well, Lot's wife. That's what
Okay,
happened.
look.
Lot's wife turned around. She looked and
Yeah.
turned her into a pillar of salt.
Salt.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
uncool, but
Yeah.
God did that.
Yeah.
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 It
And
just
Don't
seems like
look,
there's
'cause I don't
more
want you to learn
collateral
any of my
damage.
secrets of how I destroyed
Well,
the
look at Noah's Ark. I mean, you know, the flood destroyed the good and bad alike. I mean, there were only the
Right,
ark.
it was
sort of-
right.
That's the great reset.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, look.
But I
this-
think also cinematically too, we see demons and devils in film a lot more than we see angels. I think overall because they're just more cinematic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I mean,
It's
like
more entertaining to see
It's just more
them
cooler.
You're right.
Yeah, you know, I think that, so.
And look, perhaps we should do a religion episode, but for the sake of this particular episode, for who would win, two entities enter, one leaves.
Well,
I would say
cinematically, ultimately, I
God,
think
God.
you got to go with God.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
because
so.
because even in horror movies, eventually that's the way it pans out.
But I think this was a very interesting.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we could go on and on. This is so wonderful.
Do we want to do one more
lightning
lightning
round?
round?
Speed round, yeah. I
Let's
think
do a
so.
speed round.
Lightning round?
Sure,
Just really
sure.
quickly?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Here we go.
I've got a bunch. But
Let's
so
do
how-
two each.
Well,
Two more
two
each?
We'll do
Quickly.
really
Quickly.
quick.
Yeah.
All right. One for fun. You got Wolverine
Okay.
versus the Killer Rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Ooh,
Okay.
that.
Well, I think Wolverine would win.
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yeah.
Wow,
Be-
that
because-
rabbit! If it just gets actually,
no,
yeah. If
no.
it gets even if he bites him, he's going to regenerate.
He'll regenerate.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that rabbit is so relentless, and he could take off heads.
It would look great though. It'd be a good fight. It'd be a fun fight to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
James?
That rabbit's dynamite.
Okay.
Gremlins versus the birds.
Ooh.
Oh.
That's it. Wow.
Oh. Shoot. Boy, you stumped me.
Sheer volume of birds might over.
Well, there's a lot of gremlins.
If
the birds
see, but the
could-
birds just going to attack them and like and
If they-
cut out their eye.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah.
They're still.
I'm going with birds.
Yeah, I
But
think
the
birds.
gremlins, once they become like bigger, like Spike or whatever, they could build little catapults and they could pick up guns. They could.
Well,
they could do
that's
some
true. If you're,
damage, you know?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, BB guns.
I'm going to go with birds.
Still go with birds. I
Yeah.
think.
Birds, yeah.
Yeah.
Birds.
Unanimous birds.
Okay. Rhedosaurus from The Beast of 20,000 Fathoms versus Reptilicus. Yeah. Now, before you laugh,
Reptilicus
No,
because he flies.
no, Reptilicus has also the spit.
Yeah,
the atomic spit.
I mean,
and
Rhedosaurus is great, but like, that acid. I know you don't see it fly in the movie, but he has wings. I think Reptilicus.
I hate Reptilicus, but you throw in that stupid radioactive spit. I got to give it to Reptilicus.
Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is much more quality stop motion animated.
I totally, dude,
It's-
I
well, yeah,
totally agree
Reptilicus
with
isn't
you.
even animated.
I totally
by
agree.
virtue of that and Ray Harryhausen, I invoke the Ray Harryhausen clause.
All right.
Okay, James.
Reptilicus.
You know what? I love The Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, but I'm actually going to go with the guys Reptilicus because of the gross stuff. I mean, the Rhedosaurus does have the radioactivity, but not the spit. So
Now,
there
if
go.
you had the giant behemoth
Yeah.
against,
I didn't. I
that
thought
would be
about
sort of
that.
evenly matched.
I thought about that, but I thought this would be more fun. Sean.
all right, Tor Johnson
Oh.
versus
Matilda May.
Rondo Hatton.
Can
Come
you
on,
give
think
me-
about it. Very similar in strength and physique, speed.
Tor's more of a wrestler. I think he's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
the strength factor.
But if Rondo
But
gets
he's-
those hands on Ron's neck,
Yeah.
I mean he's the creeper.
I'm going
he's
with
a
Tor.
strangler.
I think I'm going to go with
Okay.
Tor too, and I'll tell you
Okay.
why. I agree with you. I think Rondo Hatton's big and stuff, but the size and the muscle and the
yeah.
mass of Tor Johnson.
Actually,
I think, would
about it, Tor
overpower.
doesn't only have a neck, so he
Yeah.
could be strangled.
Boom.
Yeah, so
Boom.
yeah, I think Tor.
I don't know. Tor is so lumbering though.
Well, I think Rondo's smarter.
and he's smarter. Yeah,
But I don't know-
I think I'd go with Rondo.
Really? Okay.
well, you know what? They don't have the Tor Johnson Awards. They have the Rondo Hatton Awards.
That's true.
It's true.
That's right.
It's
That's
true.
right.
I don't
But they had
know.
the cool Tor Johnson Don Post mask.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Hey, what about that?
But then
huh?
you've got a Rondo Hatton.
Rondo Hayden.
Like-
Rondo Hayden.
in the Rocketeer, you got Rondo Hatton.
That's
the
right.
return
That
of
was
Rondo
true.
Hatton.
Yeah.
That's true.
Maybe the coolest part about
Yeah.
that movie.
All right, Matt.
Batman.
Okay.
Oh, does it matter which Batman? Which
Yeah, Adam
version?
West.
I would say either your basic comic book Batman
Okay.
or Christian Bale
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Bale.
Okay.
Okay.
versus John Wick.
Look, I mean, Wick is probably, when it comes down to it, a better mano-a-mano fighter. But does Batman get to use his weapons? Because I mean, John Wick
Well,
can use
he
a gun.
has to
but
be able to use his weapons. Batman has to be able to use his weapons because John Wick is all about weapons. He's also a great hand-to-hand fighter, but he does rely a lot on guns.
Yeah.
But Batman's got the, kind of
armor
type. I
and-
mean, he's got a suit, and
if we're talking Christian Bale, I'm going to go with Christian Bale.
if
Yeah,
it was
Batman.
Bruce Wayne versus John Wick, I'd say John Wick.
No, it has to be Batman because they're both using
Yeah.
tools. And I think
Okay.
that also if John Wick knew he was going up against Batman and he had armor, I think that he would probably get some bulletproof.
that's true. He'd be
vests of his
smart enough.
own.
Yeah.
I'm on the fence with this one because
Yeah.
I think that whereas Batman has been trained, in the Himalayas by these, these masters of fighting,
Right.
John Wick is just when I watch those movies and I see how he
It's just
survives
pure
everything.
survivalist,
just
like-
he's got that survival instinct that is something I think that is beyond what I see in Batman's eyes. There's a survival instinct thing. He will just not relent.
Well, because also John Wick isn't like a multimillionaire who can make anything, any weapon. Like he goes
Yeah.
on his like wits and like his like
Yeah.
just-
Wick is slick and Wick is well connected. He has a whole network at his disposal
Yeah.
to help him out. Whereas Bruce Wayne's a loner. He just has lots of money.
yeah,
and it-
yeah.
And so if you take that into account, plus Batman, he doesn't have that peripheral vision as well. He's sort of limited by his protective mask and
That's
armor.
true.
And if we're talking about Christian Bale, then he can be a little lumbering in that suit.
True.
Whereas John Wick is so agile and so quick when it comes to instinctual fighting. He is so it looks like when you see him fight and do what he does with guns, it's like chess almost. It's like he's thinking 5 steps ahead.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I don't think he's as cumbersome as you say. I think in his suit and his later suit, Christian Bale's later suit, I think he is more agile.
I'm just comparing
the
two.
I think it's tough.
It's a tough one,
I'm
though.
going to still
Yeah, I
go
like
with
that, though.
Christian Bale Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh.
Michael?
It's a draw.
All right. Are we doing one more now?
Yeah.
Or just one more round?
And I'm gonna go with John Wick.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
David, last one. Let's make it a good one.
Yul Brynner's gunslinger from Westworld versus a fembot.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, that is
That's
good one.
good one.
Take off their faces; they kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's the same technology, it seems
Yeah,
like. Yeah.
exactly.
The
What do you
fembots
think?
have those bras.
And I
Yes. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Built-in guns.
Yeah.
well,
But you're talking about Austin Powers fembots. I think you're talking about this $6 million
I'm talking about the
man.
Bionic Woman,
Yeah,
$6 million
fembots.
man.
Classic fembots with the
yeah,
faceplates.
yeah,
70s
absolutely.
fembots.
Yes.
Which are really-
obviously
but what are their-
inspired by Westworld.
Yeah,
Literally.
totally.
TV ripoffs.
So, but like, what? I mean,
I don't
they're
remember
kinda
that. I didn't
super
watch that show that
strong.
much.
They're like regular women, but they're super strong, right?
Maskatron, the toy, is kind of a take on the
Yes.
fembots.
Right.
But what? And they did make a fembot.
Yeah, they
right?
made a fembot toy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what could they do? They were
They
just
were like
strong.
they were strong.
They
right?
they were like the equivalent of Bionic, but it was a
Yeah.
complete Bionic robot as
Right.
opposed to just an arm and a leg and an ear and an eye.
But how easily were they dispatched though? Because Yul Brynner's robot just kept coming back and being
Yeah, he was
shot,
pretty
acid,
relentless.
and
Tenacity.
Yeah.
And also he had experience as a gunslinger, so he was able to, in his programming, he was able to work a gun very well.
Yeah.
Although he doesn't he has the restriction with the vision.
vision, yeah.
You know, when he sees the fire, if he can't read his heat vision.
Yeah.
You know, so if like Richard Benjamin is staying by the fire, he can't distinguish between the fire and Richard.
What?
I don't know if the
fembots have any kind of thing.
Well,
like
I was
that.
I don't know. What I was going to say, independent of that, is it seems like the gunslinger seems like the obvious winner. But if you think about the fembot and how powerful they are, how high that they could leap, how strong they are, if everything
they
is
can
the
leap,
equivalent,
yeah.
because basically they're built to go toe to toe with bionic
Right.
operatives,
Right.
And so they're extremely strong, and you don't see super strength with the gunslinger. You just see
more
a
tenacity.
That's true.
relentless
That's true.
tenacity.
That's true.
Yeah.
and
And he has this
and a
gun.
true shot.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would think potentially a fembot could just kind of
Interesting.
crush the gunslinger.
I'm going to go with my gut, fembot.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe.
You know what?
Maybe the fembot.
I wasn't going to say this, but now you've convinced me. Fembot. James.
I'm
Right. convinced
as well.
And
Wow.
I want to add real quickly. Originally, I was going to go.
What are you, Larry?
Yul Brynner's gunslinger against the Terminator, because the Terminator is really a ripoff of
It
Jack
is.
the Gunslinger.
It really is. That gunslinger.
the
the way
gunslinger
it kept
is-
coming back was the first time you saw that in a movie like that. That adversary, like
Yeah.
I know,
It's the Terminator.
It really
before,
is.
You know,
It
James
totally
Cameron
is.
definitely
The Terminator, of course, would
inspired.
win because, acid in the face slowed him down for a little bit.
Which is why I chose not to
Yeah.
put the two together.
right,
Good.
right, okay.
James, make it a good one.
The village of Summerisle from The Wicker Man.
Yes.
The whole village, right?
whole
All
The whole
the pagan,
village.
pagan
village,
worshipers.
okay.
Yes.
The bees too?
Versus the Children of the Corn.
Summer because they're adults, and the children of the corn, they're
Which Children of the Corn?
From the first movie.
one, but
The
they're
first movie.
The first movie.
Okay.
but they're still immature, and was it Malachi, and like the pagans in the Wicker Man are more crafty, and I mean the way they
Yeah.
lured Edward Woodward through
Yeah.
that whole thing, it was all set up. I mean, to do that.
And the
it's
children of the corn aren't
it's
that
that
sophisticated.
takes
No.
patience and
They
intelligence.
kind of bore you to death.
But
Yeah.
they do have He Who Walks Behind the Road.
I was going to
as a
say they have a supernatural
being.
beast underneath.
In Summerisle, they do not have.
Oh, I forget. Yeah, but see, that's how shitty those movies are. Because they make you completely
Yeah.
forget about that.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think, I think
They would stick Malachi up in the Wicker Man and burn him. They're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just forget about He Who Walks Behind the Road.
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
No, I agree.
And Britt Eklund would do that dance, and then it's all over.
That's it. Yeah, the kids would be.
So are we agreeing on Children of the Corn then?
No,
No, we're not. We're not.
Summer Isle.
Okay, all right.
That's a good one. Though. I like
All right,
that.
good. Okay, guys, we're gonna bring this creature back for a second time. How about from The Empire Strikes Back, the Wampa?
Oh no! Versus a succubus.
No, versus the horrifying creature from 1964's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Abominable Snow Monster.
It's got the same, same monster.
No, sir, it is not. It is
well,
not.
The Bumble's way bigger.
Yes,
you
he
step on,
is.
You just step on him.
Well, no.
Well, Bumbles bounce. We have
Yes,
that, right?
yes, yes.
No,
But that's even
Bumble is
neither.
bigger, but
Neither one of them are supernatural.
no, but
No,
Bumble is bigger, but Wampa more savage.
That's true.
But he would
That
just
is-
bite him on an ankle, and the Bumble would just kick him away.
And no, and then just don't let go till you hit that artery.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just like
Bumble.
And now before I
me
just
do that sound
wanted- Okay. Now the funny thing is, people forget about what the Bumble lives off of. I mean, the Bumble actually, before he encounters, Yukon Cornelius stuff,
Right.
he actually eats reindeer.
That's right. So you
Yeah.
just eat the Wampa.
Well, see, the Wampa is much larger than your average reindeer.
Is it?
And
But
yes,
it's
it
still
is.
not
yes,
as big
it is.
as the Bumble.
No,
Reindeer
a
is a-
Wampa.
Real-
a Wampa.
The
Real
Wampa's like the
reindeers.
size of like a bear.
Real reindeers
He's
are not
larger
that,
than
are
a
not
bear.
as tiny as Rudolph.
Okay,
Real
there,
reindeers are.
no reindeer in the Star Wars universe. One. Two, the reindeer in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer are small.
If we're talking about those reindeer, then yes. Okay.
Can a Wampa take a star and put it at the top of a tree?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
No.
But see, Matt brought up a really good point. I thought, you guys are going to, it's the Bumble. It's because I do think the Wampa is more fierce and ferocious and would be able to, with his claw, grab the artery or crawl onto the Bumble's back. And the Bumble,
Right in the neck,
because
yeah.
he's big and large, but he's not the most agile creature.
or he's not very intelligent, but it's not made up for in any kind of just instinctual killing.
Yeah.
But he has the teeth. He has vicious, huge, sharp teeth.
Yes.
One bite into the tiny Wampa and it's over.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think the
Bumble.
Wampa can inflict some damage, but when it comes down to it, Bumbles would just smash it.
Artery?
Yeah.
Artery? Hello? Artery?
I think before he could even get up
yeah,
there,
yeah.
Bumbles would just pull him down, whack him.
Okay, so what do you think?
Bumbles, the abominable
James?
snowman.
Bumble.
The Bumble would step on the cave that the Wampa's living in and crush him before
Matt?
he even has a chance to
Okay,
come out.
I see these guys, they say Bumble. Matt?
I'm Wampa.
You're Wampa?
Wampa.
I'm Wampa too.
Wow.
Look at this. You and I agree.
Team Wampa.
Okay. Sean?
Okay, Jean Grey
Mm-hmm.
in full, all-powerful Phoenix mode
Okay.
against Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Wow.
With the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, then, done
It's done.
deal.
Done.
He snaps his fingers
But
and
she
she's
can.
dust.
Yes.
But would he have a chance to do it? Because she can also make at that stage. She can make people just dissolve in a second.
yeah, but
So does it?
but she can't like alter reality itself.
Yeah. But,
He could go back in time with the time stone before she gets around to doing it.
Yeah, there's
but
too
if
many
they're-
factors.
If they're
out.
facing each other, couldn't
Yeah.
she like use her wiles on him too? And like, would it be
Use her wiles.
you know,
Matilda May has wiles.
Matilda Way.
Seriously, I mean, I believe that because I believe that, I mean, they're not going to kill, talking about Avengers of Infinity War, they're not going to effectively and definitively kill half of the Marvel population. So
Right,
there's a way to get them all back. And in my
would
mind,
she
it has
be
to
able to come back though?
well, in my mind, it has to do with the time stone. And if you have the complete Infinity Gauntlet, you have the power at your fingertips, literally, to do and use anything that it has that gives you the power to do anything the most powerful stones in the universe.
Right.
So while she is
Formidable.
immensely formidable and
Yeah.
incredibly
But do we know
powerful.
her full power? We don't even know her full power even though because she
No,
was
no.
stopped
Well,
it's
at
not-
the,
This is all you could say. Sorry, is that this would be the fastest
Really?
fight in
Okay.
the world.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Okay, is there anybody that would be a formidable foe then against Thanos?
No.
God? God against Thanos.
Oh.
God set it up for his entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
David,
Yeah, okay.
you are so convincing with that argument.
Which one?
Very good, Sean.
Okay.
All right, Matt, bring it home.
I think this is one you guys will like.
Okay.
Colossus the Forbin Project,
That's the
Colossus,
greatest movie
Yes,
ever.
yes.
versus Proteus.
Oh my God. My wife,
from Demon Seed.
Gina and I
Demon
just
Seed.
literally just watched both of those movies.
Oh.
Two
Two
supercomputers.
supercomputers.
What
Now-
about Whopper? Can he perform in this at all?
Oh,
What's Whopper from?
That's
Whopper's
from the
from-
War Games.
Yeah.
Is that what
Oh,
that was?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I don't like
Colossus?
No, because the Whopper is simpleton
it's
to these
unrelated.
two.
No, so and then you've got Colossus merging with Guardian.
Guardian.
Yes. I think Colossus. Colossus because he's spread out across the entire world.
He
Yeah.
is, but here's my argument with Proteus, and that is that Proteus was able to make the jump from computer to humanoid.
I don't think it matters though.
But if you have both computers at each other, Colossus is not going to wait around until he screws
Julie
or,
Christie.
Christie
creates
and
artificial
and
life.
As a kid,
No.
he's
Now,
going to.
I guess there would be some parameters on this, which would the parameters would be that they were both kind of gaining their ascendancy at the same time. Mm-hmm. So you've got a computer that can actually get into the network of a computer system.
Yeah, and-
but then you've
and
also
Proteus
have
does that with
a
the
foot
other-
soldier that is a humanoid that could
Right.
do things that maybe just a computer network with orders to make humans follow its wishes.
Well, I will say
wouldn't be able to achieve.
Having just recently seen both these movies, Proteus is quicker at like being okay. I'm taking over. Like he's very blatant about about defying his creators. Colossus is a little more sly about it, and he takes his time
and works it out a little slower.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I
Yeah.
think that Proteus is a little faster when it comes to what it wants, how it wants to get it.
But what Proteus wants is a little more like petty than what Colossus wants, because Proteus just wants Proteus wants to have a human child, but Colossus wants world peace and to control everything.
And that's Proteus's single-minded motivation is to
Yeah.
have the child. Pretty
Yeah.
much. For whatever his motivation is beyond the child, that's his MO for that movie.
Right. So that's.
But what
That's
makes me
interesting.
think that maybe Proteus might have an edge, and I'm on the fence with this one too, is that Proteus, because he wants to have this humanoid child, I'm assuming has a bigger plan in mind, and it's a way more out of the box thinking than what Colossus and Guardian want to do, and the fact that it is selfishly minded might give it an advantage over this altruistic, seemingly, according to their point of view, the computer's point of view.
I would say though that with Proteus, there's a little bit of a tinge of insanity, like it's gone a little bit mad, whereas Colossus is an all-thinking.
It's pretty logical.
Yeah, it's like it succeeds at what it does. I mean, it's like it takes over. That's it. Like, but it's kind of like, okay, humanity, you're gonna have to deal with this. You either live with this or not. And Proteus is just like, I want to have a child with you. It's just like it's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, and granted, once you have these two computer systems that are now one that are controlling everything, they control the power grid, everything. All they'd have to do is really just pull the plug on the part of Proteus that's still in the computer,
Right.
and then just shoot the kid.
Right.
So,
yeah,
okay.
that's true.
Yeah.
A little bit of trivia. I believe Colossus, the voice, that kind of robotic voice,
Yes.
I believe it's Paul Frees doing the voice. You can't really
Colossus is Paul Frees, and then
And
Robert Vaughn
tell. Is
is
Proteus.
Proteus. Yeah.
Ceres.
Very cool.
Robert Vaughn, who used a supercomputer to beat Superman in Superman 3.
That's
See,
right.
it all comes full
together.
circle.
I'm gonna go with Colossus.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're all in agreement.
Whichever
right?
one controls Skynet or Boston Dynamics. I'll take it.
Too.
Great.
Wow.
This was good.
Nice.
This has been very
This
good.
is
We brought
awesome.
some really
We got
interesting
some good
ones
ones.
tonight.
This was a nice
Good.
one.
This is jam packed with good ones.
Well, David, I want to thank you so much for being with us tonight.
It was a real
Awesome.
pleasure to be here. I had
Not
such a
before
fun
I
time.
thank you. Thank you.
So you've got a lot of things going on with your It Came From blog.
That's correct. Yeah. I've got It Came From blog. I do sci-fi, fantasy, horror, superhero genre stuff, a lot of nostalgia stuff. If you liked what I did with Famous Monsters, this is sort of more of the same. And I'm doing some of that and some entertainment journalism. But yeah, go to itcamefromblog.com, and all the
Nice.
socials are at itcamefromblog on like Twitter and
Cool.
Facebook and Instagram and Skynet.
Cool.
Well, when it comes to playing the game of who would win, I think we all won today. Right? Don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was here to at least, sort of define parameters a little more, or at least
Yeah.
try and figure those out. And,
Yeah.
I felt like this, it's been a while since we brought some Matilda May to this.
yes.
Thank you so much.
So-
Yeah, we've really
We're gonna
discovered
save
new
that
avenues.
for our Matilda May episode.
Yeah. Oh man, wherever she is,
Try to get her
please
on the
find
show.
us.
Yeah.
Find us. I'm in Van Nuys now.
Time for listener shout out.
Shout out!
I think we've got a few shout outs, don't we, guys?
Wow.
Absolutely.
Do we?
A cornucopia of shout outs.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right. So
Those are the best kind.
Absolutely. This first shout out goes to Grant Conboy. Grant Conboy is a teacher, an art and ceramics and photography teacher at St. Monica Catholic High School.
Hey.
Okay.
And he is apparently a huge fan of our Monster Party podcast.
Hey, Grant.
Hey, Grant.
Hey, Grant.
He's
Great
really
name
into-
too.
Yes, Grant Conboy. He's also a comic book artist himself. He's
Sweet.
He's a huge Swamp Thing fan.
Oh, love
And,
Swamp Thing.
Yeah, and he's a big fan of the show. But this is also a double shout out because the way he found out about this podcast is from my incredibly cool nephew, Lucas Catalina.
Oh.
Lucas is a 15-year-old coolest kid ever. He's not a kid. He's a young man. He's awesome. He's into Star Wars and gaming and robots, and he's super creative and super smart and a great kid. My sister Heather and her husband Mark have spawned a great kid.
Have spawned a great kid.
and Lucas.
You're just like me. You have no ability to connect with young people.
What's the connection here?
Well, Lucas is a student in Grant's
Okay.
art and photography class.
Okay.
And Lucas brought up Monster Party. Says that my Uncle Sean.
Hey, my Uncle Sean has
Yeah,
a
he
show.
doesn't talk like that, but yes, he says my Uncle Sean
it's the
actually does a
adolescent.
podcast because he
Uncle Sean's the greatest.
because he knew that Grant is into like comic books and this kind of stuff, and so he told Grant about it, and very soon it was like Grant was like, "This is my favorite podcast ever."
Nice.
So Lucas, thank you so much for spreading
Yes,
the
thank
Monster
you,
Party
Lucas.
word, and Grant, thanks so much for being a fan.
Yes.
you.
Yes, indeed.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
I have a shout out that I would like to put out there, and it's kind of a somber thing because one of my favorite authors of all time, certainly someone who has influenced me throughout my life, just recently passed away, and that would be Harlan Ellison.
Harlan Ellison.
Yep.
And it's very sad for me because I mean Harlan Ellison. When I read his books, he had these numerous collections of short stories and all these award-winning stories that he came up with, and so influential in science fiction, like from Star Trek on. I mean, there's
my God. He's
some of the
done
most
so
classic
much.
Outer Limits episodes were Harlan Ellison.
I mean, City on the Edge of Forever. Is like one of the best
like
Trek episodes
arguably
ever.
like the best Trek episode ever.
Right.
Yes, and he was a guy. When I would read his stuff, and I remember like really, really getting into it around like my 20s. And I would read his stuff, and he kind of helped me get in touch with my anger and the idea that anger can be channeled into something that's beautiful. And that really, for me, summed up, what Harlan Ellison did for me. I mean, of course, his ideas, the imagination that went into his work, and
Well, he was just he would challenge you.
Yeah.
He was very outspoken. He was
Yeah.
not. He was just he would
Controversial
say-
at
yeah,
times.
Sure.
but
You know.
always.
but like this passion and anger, and his real kind of lust for life was imbued in everything I feel that he wrote.
Right.
And I met him a couple times, and you hear these stories of how difficult he
Yes,
could be.
I have heard these
And
stories.
I have to say that every time that I met him, he was delightful. He was at a bookstore, and Robin Williams was there. And Robin Williams said, "You must write a story and sit in the window of this bookstore and write a story, and I'm going to give you the line that you're going to start the story with, and you're going to write the story." And I don't remember the line, unfortunately. But yeah, he was sitting in this window, and I went into the bookstore. I was like, "Harlan Ellison." He was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was talking to me about working on Babylon 5, and it was great. And then I saw him at a convention, and I kept coming up to him and having him sign stuff. And every time I'd come back, he's like, "Oh, get a life!" And like really busted my balls. And I was talking about there was a Justice League book that I liked at the time, and I was talking about how much I liked the character of John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, and I remember him saying, "John John's a putz." The fact that he even had that passionate an opinion about
Right.
John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, was beautiful. But he was great, and I loved him. And I know he had his dark side, but that's also the thing that sort of made him wonderful and unique.
He was always relevant. The Blu-ray of A Boy and His Dog has this fantastic extra. It's about like an hour conversation between Harlan Ellison and L.Q. Jones, the director of...
Oh, wow.
And it's just hilarious because they just give each other shit the whole time, and it's great. It's like these two old, ornery guys like talking about how the movie was made and how Ellison wasn't happy with some things, but then ended up...
I heard he liked most of it.
Yeah, he did. No, but it's just a great conversation.
Yeah, I think the only thing that he really took issue with was the very end.
Yeah, it was the ending. It was a remark that the dog makes
But
let's
about
not
the girl.
let's save
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but it's
I'd like
great.
people
It's
to
just
see
great.
that.
It's a great.
But yeah, I mean, he
extra.
really was a force in the genre and just writing in general. I mean, he was just a great writer, and he will be
totally.
missed.
Yes.
Well, as you guys know, we started to make available the Monster Party T-shirts for the first time at Monsterpalooza.
Yay.
And then we've made them available on eBay. And since then, we've had many listeners buy the T-shirts. Many have bought both types. And one has bought both T-shirts and the Monster Party cap, which is still available on eBay. So want to give shout-outs to all these listeners
Please
who
do.
have done that.
Cool.
Oh, it must be hundreds. We don't have that much
Thousands.
time.
Yeah, we got a whole nother show.
Andrew Ellis from Green Acres, Florida.
And that's it.
Jeffrey Birch from Sherman Oaks.
Oh, my God.
Right next door. The Venerable Walt Keegan from Spotswood, New Jersey.
Hey, Walt.
Frank Groff from Riverview, Florida.
Cool.
Dave Moran from Livonia, Michigan.
Dave.
Clint Osborne, longtime listener
Yes,
from
yeah.
Rapid City, South Dakota.
All right.
Sean Hopman from Chicago, Illinois.
John.
Bob Farmer from Orient, Ohio.
Thanks, Bob.
Man.
Larry Carney, our old friend from Lapeer,
Yes,
Michigan.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Thanks,
name.
Larry.
Andrew Walcott from Furryville, Wisconsin.
Cool.
I like that.
Richard Schaffer from Alexandria, Virginia.
Thanks, Richard.
Gosh.
Thank you, Rich.
Chris Manuel from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks, buddy.
Travis Sutton from Stowe, Ohio.
You're the best.
Oh,
Rick
This is a long list.
Rick Weiss from Olivet, Missouri.
Right?
And Brian Jennings from Narragansett, Rhode Island.
Last but not
Brian
least.
Jennings.
Oh, you're going to look good. You're all going to look good.
That's an
You're
incredible
going to like the way you
list.
look. Wait a minute. That's copyrighted.
Want to let our listeners know that we will be putting up more stock in different sizes on eBay very shortly. So please keep looking. We know that we've run out of some sizes, but please do check. In the next week or two, that we should have some more stock up there.
In the
So-
meantime, wash them on hot or try to fit one over your car.
Right.
Let's also remind our listeners that you can find us on Facebook and YouTube at Monster Party TV. Our Twitter handle is at Monster Party HQ. Instagram, also Monster Party HQ. If you're listening to us on iTunes, we'd love it if you took a moment and wrote a review. We would love to hear from you. If you're looking for our merch, our eBay moniker is Monster Party Store, which is easy to remember. And once again, the caps are up there, and some sizes of T-shirts are, but we will have more sizes soon.
Cool.
Fantastic. And I want to give a special thanks to our sponsors at Creature Features. Hey! And again, guys, you know Creature Features doesn't have a store, but Taylor and Matt, they do have this great website. You can go to creaturefeatures.com, and it can show you this whole bunch of stuff that they have going on, all these art shows that are coming up in the future, autograph signings, and then you can also see them on eBay at C Features, because they still have a ton of stuff that they've put on Creature Features in eBay.
Cool.
And we also want to give a special thanks to Time Tunnel Toys.
Time Tunnel Toys!
Time Tunnel Toys, located at 1583 Meridian Avenue in San Jose, California. And Joe and Sharon have an amazing store filled with all kinds of vintage toys. And I suggest you go to their website at timetunneltoys.com to check out all the information on their upcoming antique toy shows.
Very
Cool.
cool.
Got to check it out.
On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong.
Go into a room with a friend and challenge that friend to listen to Monster Party. You'll both come out winners. And there's a little snapper there.
Just for the record, again, a sincere apology to our guest, David Weiner, for when we were on the show, the Monster Palooza episode. I didn't brush you off.
No.
But it was a quick, well, thank you very much. Hey, here's our next
You
guest.
saw another opportunity that you did not want to let go by.
And because you're in the biz, you're happen to get, you've done the red carpet thing. You know how it works. You're like, hey, I understand. I get it. No problem.
That's why I stood in front of your house for weeks waiting for that apology.
And I'm sorry that it's coming this late. But again, I apologize. And we're so glad and grateful to have you here. And you are a true friend.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, I feel first time I was very excited just to get on and talk about famous monsters and so on and so forth. And then the second time I felt really honored that you brought me back.
Do you remember the third time?
But I thought you were just throwing me a bone because you needed someone to.
Do you remember where we met? By the way, do you remember where we met? Oh, come on now!
The Blue Oyster, wasn't it?
No, it was at Monster Palooza in Pasadena. These dudes. I'm trying not to say clowns. These guys had met you.
You can call me a clown.
No,
That's
I'm not going
fine.
to call you a clown. You're not a clown. None of you guys are clowns.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
But do you remember you met them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
At Monster Palooza.
But they
I
met
thought we-
you.
I
No,
thought-
you guys met him at the Northern California thing.
At DonCon.
I wasn't there.
DonCon.
DonCon is when I actually said, "Hey, I like Monster Party. I'd like to do that sometime." And you said, "Hey, we'd like to have you on sometime."
Because I didn't meet him there. I didn't meet you at DonCon.
But I think prior to DonCon was the Silver Screen Fest.
That's it. That's where
And
you
you
guys.
guys
That's
were
what it
all
was.
up
Yeah.
Because you guys
There you
introduced
go.
me to him. I'm like, oh, this
that
is
was
David
before-
Weiner, the famous monster guy. And
That's what he did. Yeah.
And I remember based on that tone
He
of voice, I
descended
just kept
an
watching.
escalator like Trump. Hello.
No. And I remember just thinking, this guy is great. This guy's great. I want to
Oh,
know
really?
this
You thought
guy.
that?
Not at the beginning.
Not at the very beginning.
No, because my first thought was, wow, this guy looks so young and he's in charge of famous monsters.
See,
He's
that's
Mr.
the
Editor.
thing. That's what I want to get out of you. What was your first impression, really?
Bitterness, jealousy.
You're like, this guy does not have the chops and he's not worth it.
No, that is not.
No.
Kid had a silver spoon in his mouth.
I didn't think that at all.
Oh, what'd you
because
a silver
I think I told you.
scream in his
No,
mouth.
I had talked to your other Ed Blair. I mean, I was chummy with him,
Right.
But it was like the famous monsters at the time. It wasn't exactly what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, this new guy comes out of the woodwork, this David Weiner guy, and I'm looking at, and the magazine was better. I liked it more, and then I knew the name David Weiner. I knew this guy.
Oh, so you took notice because it was a little more organized.
Yes.
quality.
No,
all,
and
the,
the quality.
all the kids were talking about it.
No, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. This is serious. And so my
Is this
first
gonna
thought
be-
was, no, this is. I'm almost done.
Is this going to be on the record, though? Is my real question. I think it is, right?
Yeah, probably because he never throws anything away.
Okay.
But when I met you, my first
this
thought
is the
was,
last words of kindness you're going to hear.
No, my first thought
I will be
was
diplomatic.
I expected David Weiner to be this guy who was much older, and kind of crusty and David Weiner. And I meet this young guy
That's Bobcat.
he's sharp and he's articulate and he knows his stuff. And I remember thinking, my first thought was, jealousy, like, oh,
Of course. Right. Yeah. Right.
But then we started talking. I thought, this guy is great. I like this guy.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you got
That was
know what?
after the check cleared, correct?
There was no.
And you
check.
know your stuff too, Larry. See, we can all. It doesn't
Yes,
have to
but
be a
exactly.
contest.
But see, I'm
all
not,
the time.
I'm not a writer like David, and David's
Okay, but you do
charming
other
and
things.
good looking, and he's
I've-
Mr. Entertainment Tonight guy.
I've
and,
seen.
you know,
I've
he's-
seen pictures of you.
That was a long time ago, my friend.
I know, but I
That
keep
was a
them. I
long
keep them
time ago.
in my bureau,
Yeah.
and I
just
I thumb through them at night
curl up in a
sometimes. and I
hole
go,
and
Well, you say
I'm
wonderful,
wondering.
wonderful things, and I will lap up any positive things that are about what I did at Famous Monsters. So it's much appreciated.
Yes.
Oh, man.
because I
Yes.
really enjoyed what I got to do there.
Yeah,
and,
really.
And I was a super duper lucky person to be able to have carte blanche to pretty much do what I wanted.
yes,
to
you
do.
were.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you were.
We grew
And-
up on Famous Monsters.
And on top of that, to basically be able to do what I wanted to, and then to have a very positive response.
Right.
That people are saying, "Hey, we actually like the way you're balancing sort of new and nostalgic, and please more of the same of what you're doing." That was wonderful and encouraging. So
again, this
I'm
all
so glad that you 4 people bought the only issues that.
But what this all boils down to is I apologize for, shooing you off so quickly on the show.
Larry?
You're still on this.
What if you? Let's just make a blanket apology to
Yeah.
everyone that you've wronged.
Well, because I don't know if I want to apologize to everybody.
That you've wronged.
Oh, that I've
That
wronged?
you've wronged.
Okay,
Right.
well, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Sure.
So here you go.
Well, I don't
go for it.
But I don't know.
Wow, you're already waffling. You can't just
we have a-
apologize to the people that you've wronged.
Do we have a show to do?
Yes,
Yes.
we do. Let's do it.
Okay. I think we need
he
to
couldn't
move
do
on.
it. He couldn't do it.
Let's-
You heard it here, listeners. He'll grovel in front of David Weiner, but to you guys, fuck it. All right, let's go.
All right, we're all good.
I think we're all. I think we're ready to go.
levels-
Yeah.
levels are good. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Oh, and
And you
It-
you
just-
hug the mic too.
Yeah, totally.
just to head you off at the pass, and I'm sure you'll get
Oh,
it right,
God.
but it came from blog.com as opposed to it came from the blog. Because in the past, that's in your excitement, you've called it that. So
You want to apologize?
I guess that's him getting back at me for Uncle Gilbert, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fact that you completely called his blog something else.
But in fairness, though, making this mistake, the blog, missing a word, is not as big as forgetting
Well, David
about.
goes-
and in that movie,
David
he had
goes
a
around saying, "I was on the
fedora, hey."
podcast.
I had-
the monster partiers."
you know what? I had to buy the URL. It came from the blog
Yeah.
to redirect.
Did you really?
No, I'm
Listen to Monster Quinceañera.
Why did you have it? It came from blog.
It came from ... ellipses blog.
You do look at the blog, right? That's how the whole
Blog.
title is ...
Why not? But why don't you call it? It came from the blog.
Because that's
It's
not
like
the title.
but it's
Yeah.
like the blog. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you.
because
the
he'll
blog.
he'll
could
get
be
his
a
ass
scary-
sued by
Yeah.
it came from the blog. And thank you, by
There
the way,
is no-
for promoting it came from the blog.
Well, I promote stars.
Yeah.
And I promote all
Yeah.
these other
Do you know
shows.
that's an ISIS podcast? It came from the blog. You're letting the terrorists win.
Basically,
Good night, everybody.
When I created the site, I wanted to create a site that at first it was just I didn't have a title, and I thought it came from .com would be kind of fun. That was unavailable. And it came
okay.
from blog was available. So I took that, and so it came from blog.com. But the site at the top, like Matt said, if you go to the top, it says it came from ... And they just sort of become intertwined because all my socials are it came from blog.
And I
Also,
guess
it came from blog. Blog sounds like a planet almost.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's like all encompassing.
Blog, the space monster.
So serendipitously, it does sound like a little like it comes from something, but it didn't come from the
Right,
the
right.
black blog or something like
Right,
that.
right.
Creature from the black blog.
And if you say it in a movie trailer voice, it's more intimidating.
true.
It came from blog instead of it came from the blog.
I understand, and it's kind of like.
Do you?
Well, it's kind of like the thing is called "It Came From" blog, right?
Okay. We only have 2 more hours of daylight, so
Let's
right.
go.
Thank you, David, for being here.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
all right. Shall we just go?
Yep.
Let's just go.
Let's do this.
All right.
Do you know what the title is?
Yeah, it's volume 3, right?
Is it volume or part? What was the
I don't know.
It's
the
volume. It's not part.
I
It
thought
is
it was
not a
volume.
part.
Was the second one part or volume? Because we should keep it consistent.
I think it was volume.
I think
right?
it was volume. Yeah, volume.
Technically, it was vol.
Who would win Vol
Volume.
3?
Yeah, because this is like another one.
Came from Vol.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I am the eyes and ears of Vol.
Are you ready?
Imagine.
No, I need you to say
Imagine this is a
something.
I've been ready
stranger's
for
head.
30 minutes.
Oh,
That's my favorite part.
you know what? I'm going to turn over a new leaf.
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Do this to their genitals.
quiet until you say something then.
Okay, you are going to speak during this one, right?
Yeah, please.
This is a whole new day for Monster Party.
This is a whole new
Oh.
leaf.
If you
Okay.
give me the freaking chance, I'll speak.
Snap. All right.
James,
you threw down the gauntlet.
James, I think you should apologize.
No,
To all of us.
I do want to say sometimes I
have
think
to
we
apologize.
hog. Some of us here
We.
might hog.
We.
Some of us here might hog the microphone.
Okay, sure.
So we have to understand that there's 4 of us here.
Maybe you should apologize to James for all that you did to him.
I'm not the only one.
This is the apology tour, apparently.
Apology
ready?
volume
Yes.
3.
Okay,
Apology.
here we go.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm sorry. By the way.
No
Okay.
need, Larry. No
Here we
need.
go. On that note, I am Matt Weinhold.
I'm Shawn Sheridan.
I'm Larry STROTHE.
And I'm James Gonis.
Keep America strong.
Challenge a friend to come into a room and I don't know what the fuck. it is. Go into a room and come out and then win, but
And then
make it.
Matilda May comes in.
Okay, let's go.
On
Old habits.
I know.
man.
I know.
Just
I've
waiting
only
for
done
me
that
to fucking
I've only done
go
that
down.
once. No,
Okay.
no.